she's going, if you're not going to fix the car right, I don't know that I want to
Yeah,
fix
see,
it.
I was the same way. That's kind of why I quit working the counter to a large extent because I wanted to basically tell the customer, you're not going to fix it right. Why are you here?
Why are we having a conversation?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
These guys who call and say, well, give me an estimate. You're wasting my time. I haven't seen the vehicle. I don't know that my estimate is going to be accurate.
I can help you guys with wording on that at some point if you want, because I had a pretty good phrase on how I used to do that with people when they would call in for an estimate.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, we probably.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
I wonder if any of the other guys want to go through some of that
We
stuff.
can do that. We can talk about that this week in the meeting if you want.
Maybe we
But
might
as far
want
as
to do
Paula
something.
goes, I don't know. I don't know how to. My schedule is such that, no offense, I don't have time for hurt feelings.
Well, I'm beyond her views.
Yeah, this is a business.
Just make it fit.
This is a business. We got stuff to do. We got money to make. That's why we're doing this. And no offense, that's the only reason I'm here on Saturdays is to make this thing rock and roll and have income coming in,
She
so
asked
it pays
me,
the bills.
she asked me if I was upset with people just showing up. I said, no, it doesn't bother me. I have a little niche back here I do. Whoever comes in doesn't bother me.
What difference does it make?
It doesn't make any difference. I could care less if you had 10 people in here.
I don't want 10.
No, I know.
Two at a time is plenty.
She said, well, we had 3 people in. Okay, so we had 3 people in. Big deal.
That was community out, and she had scheduled it.
Stacia and
And she had scheduled that. That was her.
well, she didn't say it was her.
Paula scheduled that.
She said, you scheduled that.
But she knew about it because she was CC'd on all the emails.
I'm sure she
So
did.
she knew about all of that.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But she isn't going to tell me that.
No worries. We're fine.
It's okay, we'll make it work.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, joined today by Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive and Transmission. Welcome, Jeff.
Yeah,
You made it, huh?
Thanks for having me. It was a wonderful drive.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Larry Younger also on the other side of the glass. Charlie Grimes is starting to show off today because our normal producer is running a little behind with the weather outside.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah,
What the heck? It's Colorado.
I just
It's
left
spring.
super early this morning.
So did I.
I was dumb enough today that I have a Mini Cooper Clubman press car this week. And, when I got up this morning and looked at it, there was a little bit of snow on the grass, and I had the forecast in front of me. And, I'm like, I'll be all right. So I hop in the Clubman and off I go. And, I made it just fine. And, going home might be a little bit dicier. But let's just say the little Mini Cooper Clubman, that car, I originally was not going to be, I'll just be up front. I was not excited to get that car. I thought, I'm not a huge Mini Cooper fan. I'll just say it straight up. After getting the car, driving it for the last week, I will tell you that I am pleasantly surprised. The car actually works extremely well. It's been extremely comfortable. The trip down here today in the snow, and I'm confident that I'll have no trouble getting back home this afternoon. Frankly, my mind has changed. I actually like the car a lot better now than I did. And that's why they put you in the car for a week, because you can't go drive a car for 10 minutes.
No.
And those of you that are shopping for cars, looking at cars and so on, in fact, we're going to have Mike from JFR Cars on a little bit later today to talk about how they do things. What I'm going to tell you is if you're in the market for any car, new or used, you cannot look at everybody else's reviews, do all the studying online, and never put your rear in the seat.
Yeah.
You have got to get out and literally for yourself drive the car, because every car is different and every person likes or dislikes certain cars for certain reasons. That's why we have a flavor of cars out there.
There you go.
That's a good thing, actually.
It is.
The case in point, there's cars I'll jump in, Jeff, that I'll say, I really like this car. And my son, who is, in his mid-20s, will hop in and say, I don't like this and I don't like that. And there's things where he'll say, I don't like this and I don't like that. And I'll say, I think this is great and that's great. So every person has a different opinion of the particular, even body type, how you fit in the car. My son's much larger than I am, much bigger. He's just he's a husky kid, and played football and all that. So he's got broad shoulders and all of that. And I've got a guy that works for me that is well over 6 feet tall, that is of the same stature. Now, if I really want to test the size of a car, who do you think I put inside of it? Those two guys.
Yep.
Because if they can fit in it, anybody can. And my point being there is also know who's in your family, who's going to be riding in the car. Don't just think of yourself, but think of everybody else that might be in the car also. Right.
You know, you get something that fits somebody that's 6 foot tall, and you put somebody in there that's 5'2".
May not work as
You
well.
know, it's like the little old lady staring through the steering wheel.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. All right, so let's do this. We'll take some calls. 303-477-5600. Mindy is now joining us. She finally made it in, safe and sound. And really, the roads aren't really all that bad. It depends on what part of town you're in as to how bad they are. The further south and east you get, they get a little bit dicier. But what I will tell you is they're only slippery because of the slush. Larry was mentioning before we came on air today how much better tires are today than they've ever been, because years ago, the amount of water on the road right now, you would have had a lot more cars on the side of the road. And frankly, coming down, I didn't see any.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't see a single spin out on my way down.
I didn't see one wreck.
I didn't either, which I was really shocked at.
I was too.
It shows you how much better tire. Now, those are for cars that have tires. I followed a car yesterday into work. A little lady was driving a Nissan Xterra. And when I could see how bald the tire is as it's driving down the road, they're bald.
But it's a 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, and I'm wondering today how that Xterra is getting around with literally a slick on all fours. That's not going to work so well. I don't care what you're driving.
That's for sure.
You could be driving the best of all of, the ultimate 4-wheel drive vehicle. If it's got bald tires, or even tires that have, in this particular weather, tires that even have 25% left on them, good luck.
Yeah.
That's not enough tread in this particular weather we're having right now.
And this kind of weather, you basically need new to.
You need half good to new tires.
Yes.
So
exactly.
half or better is what you really need on tread pattern on a day like today.
And if you don't
Tread
have
pattern, I
that,
should say.
stay off the highway.
Yeah, in fact, we got some tips on that we'll get to in just a minute. So 303-477-5600. Any questions you've got? I doubt that there's a lot of you out roaming around today. But if you are and you want to call in the car, that's fine. Give us a call. If you want to email us, you can also do that. It's john@drive-radio.com. We'll answer your questions right on air. And if you want to call in, maybe you're at home in the garage working, doing some stuff, give us a call. We'd still love to chat. 303-477-5600. Question of the day. This again came from a listener. So I got several of these from listeners here the last several weeks. I'm going to use another one this week. Last week worked out great. I'm going to do this again today. Best car names. So what's your favorite car name? And or you might have several. And there's a lot of good car names. There's a lot of not so good car names. You could go both ways. You could say your least favorite car name and your most favorite car name. For example, what is a Ford Fairmont? That's one of my least favorite car names. What's a Fairmont? I mean, what does that stand for? I thought that was a hotel. What is a Fairmont?
It's kind of a poor man's Granada.
You get it? You see where I'm going with this? And then there's other cars that just have really nice, flowing names, like the old Studebaker Avante.
Yeah.
Just rolls off the tongue. Has a nice ring to it. And then there's some car companies like, and this is one I've never been able to figure out. And I love Mazda. I think they build some great cars, but their cars are really easy. A 3, a 5. You get where I'm going with that? It's sort of like, well, you put a lot of thought into that, didn't you?
Yeah.
There's not much to that. It's a 3, it's a 5, it's a whatever. I'm like, okay. Scion, another one that does some weird things with names. I drove a Scion TC recently. Again, a TC. Okay, what does that mean?
Well, it's funny you ask. When we're looking at finding parts and models of vehicles, you used to be able to find them on the vehicle. Now you got to go hunting for them, like it's an LE or an XE or a LXE or whatever. And it used to be branded on there. Now you got to hunt for it.
That's very true. Yeah, you bring up a great point. That's a really great point. All right, let's go to the phones real quick. 303-477-5600. As soon as we get one, as soon as I find out who's on, we'll do that. Larry hasn't told us yet.
Well,
Larry's busy.
Yeah.
And it's his birthday today.
It's a special day for Larry.
It's a very special day. So it's Larry's birthday. So, Mindy, we need to find like a happy birthday song here at some point that we can kind of lead in and out of one of our segments and make sure that we give Larry a good happy birthday today while he's here. Okay? Does that sound good?
And a little bit of razzing.
Yeah. We just got the We just got a signal. Let's just say that. Yeah, we got some signals coming our way. Anyways, it is Larry's birthday. I asked Larry when he came. I said, "What are you, 27 today or 26 today?" He said, 27. I said, "Okay, that works. That flies."
But I work with him every day, and I gotta say he's the most easygoing guy.
Yep.
Everybody has their moments, but
we all do.
For a veteran, he's
yeah. I appreciate all the hard work he puts in and what he does for us.
Fantastic attitude.
Yep, I could totally agree. So happy birthday, Larry. Mike, you are next. What's going on, sir? Yes, great. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I thoroughly agree. Mike, I'm thinking to myself the same thing. I mean, this lady has no kids in the car the other day, but the first thing I'm thinking is, number one, she was driving like a bat out of you-know-what, and bald tires, and I'm like, lady, first of all, slow down. Second of all, I hope you don't have any passengers ever in your car because, A, you're the most unsafe driver I've ever seen, and your tires are bald. Those two combinations don't work.
Exactly.
True. Which you shouldn't do. Yeah, and that's why they always tell you, even on a rear-wheel drive car, to put the best tires on the front so you have the best control when it comes to situations like today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Be safe on the roads today. Have fun with your friend. Ron, you're next. What's going on, Ron? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right on. Yes. Yes. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I mean, I know of the dealership. I did not know that they had actual 4 Herbie cars up there. I didn't know that. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know. Are they all? I mean, are they identical, or is each one a little different, or what? Okay, got it. So that's sort of like their mascot car. That makes sense. Makes total sense. I get it. Yeah. Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Same.
Very cool. Right on.
Neat.
Appreciate that, Ron. Thanks so much for the info. I did not know that. All right. Any questions you've got? Weather related, tire related, doesn't matter what it is. Give me your best car name or your worst car name also. Maybe your favorites, 303-477-5600. And this is going to probably convert into more of the bad car names because there's a ton of those out there. And there are some cars it's almost like, why did you name that car that?
Aztec.
Besides, it's ugly. So it sort of fits. An Aztec has got to be one of the ugliest cars ever put on the road today.
What were they thinking?
I have no idea. It makes no sense to me. Kevin Flesh just walked in, so
All
good
right.
to see Kevin. We had a great show this last week with Kevin, by the way. If you missed it, you need to go back and listen to Thursday's. I believe it was Thursday's show. And let's just say this: it will have you rolling. He's already still got me laughing from this last week. We were talking, and I won't get you any more than this, but we got to talking about parrots on my weekday show. I'll just leave it at that. You want to go back, listen to the podcast, Rush to Reason, Thursday show, 5:00 hour, and we got to talking about parrots, and that's all I'm going to say. And if you don't laugh during that segment, there's something wrong with you. Let's just say that, because I was in tears.
I will give you that.
All right, let's do this. We'll take a real quick break. We'll come right back. This is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, Jeff Kitty, joining me from Larry's Automotive and Transmission. Lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. We're also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 KLZ 560.
I will
I didn't have the heart to tell that guy that Herbie's is under investigation from the state revenue department for ripping people off on how much they charge them in interest on their car loans, their buy here, pay here thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be a jerk, but I wouldn't send anybody up there to buy a car. And they'll sell anybody a car because that's where most of my guys go to buy cars. Because they will sell anyone a car. Doesn't matter if you credit or not, they'll sell you the car.
Those registration envelopes
Yeah,
are flying.
these things are great.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to impose on the show so I can make an announcement.
Okay.
My daughter is graduating from Regis College
Oh, right on.
May 1st. So
Cool.
I have to write it down because it's a mouthful.
How would we do that? That's fine.
It is a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Management,
Oh, right on.
minors in Psychology and Communications, graduating cum laude.
Good for her.
So,
Does she have a job yet?
but
I'm guessing. That's
My
good. That's a
point
good
is-
field to go into.
what I want her to know is that what I'm going to do is have her boyfriend call me when she's listening to the show, so then I can kind of,
Let's do that.
Pull that
That's
out.
good. That's really good.
for a single parent mother to go through all those
Yeah,
hoops. to
that's
get
really good. That's awesome.
that. She busted her butt to do that.
Yeah,
so,
that's really awesome. Good for her.
So I want to make sure she knows that. Very proud.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for her. And that's a good field to get into, by the way.
Yeah.
A really good field. Yeah. That's the HR stuff are really good.
Thank you, Obamacare. These chairs are coming.
These are great. Wait till the next. Well, we already are working on that. The chairs are actually secondary, but we're going to redo the table. Come out from the window and give us more room for the studio and all of that. And the chairs were a great gift. So I asked for them, but I thanked them when they got them for us. So I'm like, we need some new chairs. These other ones are really bad. So Don Jr. comes in one day. He's like, well, what are you guys sitting in? He looked at me. He's like, you're right. Those things are crap. I'm like, thank you. They squeak and they make noise, and I said we need some new chairs. And of course, now that we have some, actual revenue on KLZ coming in, it sure helps a lot.
Try to come in. Minnie made comment. She's got a new chair. Charges. Yeah, everybody got a new chair for her.
We should have got two in there for that.
We're gonna go on a boycott, are we?
We need another chair in there, actually. And we got extras.
We need a Larry chair.
So we should have had one of these be one of those, but it's not that expensive. We should just buy another one. We should. We could do that. email that you just sent me from somebody on that parrot conversation talking about there's a bill actually coming out, intentional misrepresentation of entitlement to an assistance animal. So people actually were listening and sent him that. This good.
There's more people listening than you realize.
Yeah, that explains today, doesn't it? Cold as ice, because that's what's flying around that's what's flying around right now.
Yeah.
A lot of ice, or frozen rain, snow, whatever. Does all rain start out as snow and then turn into rain, or is it all rain all the time, or how does that work, guys? Anybody, any expert on that? No.
No,
I'm guessing if it's warm enough, it's rain all the way down. But if it's cold enough up above, it may start off as snow and then turn to rain.
probably depends on how high it.
Probably time of the year, right?
Yeah.
Today we're gonna have a little of both, rain and snow, and lots of it until I don't think this clears out of here. Literally, it's gonna be off and on throughout, believe it or not, Tuesday morning. Now, it won't be snowing heavy through Tuesday morning. I think most of that's supposed to get out of here by sometime middle of the night tonight. A little bit more snow coming tomorrow, but there will be some lingering stuff floating around Monday and Tuesday, and then a good nice warm up into next weekend. So it's Colorado. It'll be 80 degrees next weekend.
For sure.
That's how it works. That's how it works around here. So we're asking worst car names, best car names. I've got a list of the best car names we'll get to in a little bit here. 303-477-5600. They're also, for all of you out there driving a 2014 or 2015 Chevrolet truck, Silverado Sierra 1500, there is a seatbelt recall. Over 1 million trucks will be affected. If you're driving one of those, just wait and you'll probably get your notice in the mail on what to do next. So that's all you do. You just wait. On recalls, we can't help you with those. That all has to come from the manufacturer.
Yep.
Let's go to Randy, who's next. Randy, welcome. Good.
Pacer.
Pacer. Fishbowl on wheels. Oh yeah, the Smurfmobile. Yeah, that's fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Car movies or TV shows, yes. No, that's fine. There was Mindy brought up Dukes of Hazzard, and I was surprised it didn't get more mentions because Mindy was the only one that really mentioned Dukes of Hazzard, so you were the second mention on that one. That was a good car show. That's right. That's exactly right. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
You couldn't agree more. Some of the names of some of the cars today, I just wonder, what are you thinking? And I'll just give you an example, and I'm not picking on anybody, but BMW build nice cars. BMWs are let's face it, they're a great car. In fact, they're a car that a lot of people would love to own. It's kind of one of those status symbols, I guess. But can't they name their cars something other than just numbers?
Yeah.
I mean, what is there in owning a 335 or a 3? And I don't even understand all the numbers that BMW has. Maybe there's more significance there than I know, but I don't get why they don't name them actual names. Maybe it is. Yeah, because Mercedes kind of does it. You could be right in that. It could be a German thing, because the Mercedes side of the fence isn't a whole lot different. It's a 350L or a 350 this or a 450 it's like, just call the car a name.
Well, and I think that comes from the manufacturer, the way they did things in the past, as far as
Could be.
BMW was into planes and
Oh, that could be. I didn't think about it that way. I guess it could be.
Mercedes and
It just. Sure. No, go right ahead, Randy.
Okay.
You're fine with that. Really, we're here for that more than anything, so never feel
Yeah.
bad about asking that. On sealed bearings, no, you just wait till they go bad, and typically they give you more than enough warning and more than enough adequate warning to know, when to change it out. So no, I would not do wheel bearings, especially the sealed type that we have on all the modern cars of today. Nope, you just replace them when they go bad. Don't worry about it, because some of them will go well over that 200K mark, like you mentioned. I've seen some go 250, 300K, no problem. Yep, you can feel them. Typically, they'll even start to make a little bit of noise. You'll feel some vibration, things like that. I have yet to see a sealed bearing get to the point where there's not enough warning to get the thing changed. In other words, the only ones I've seen go completely bad, they have been bad for a very long time.
Well, the thing with the sealed bearing is that you can pull bad ones off, and you can't tell that they're bad.
Correct. That's correct. Because you can't feel it.
You can't feel it.
The way they've got this, what Jeff means is the way they build that with the seal and the way things all integrated, you can't spin it and feel it on the bench itself to know whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So that's why typically you just wait till they go bad and then replace them.
And it can make it kind of hard to diagnose too.
That's very effective. Very good point. Yeah, I thought of that one also, the Gremlin. Yeah, that wasn't a bad name, actually.
Well, the Gremlin X.
Yes.
Yes.
And they ran, and they were fast.
Yeah.
Actually, even the ones with the 304s in them weren't a slouch. They ran pretty well for as little a car as they were. They actually worked pretty well too. Yeah, they were pretty peppy. They weren't bad at all. They worked pretty darn good.
Yep.
They flew. Yeah, they flew. They did. It was a real sleeper. You could pull up next to some of the other muscle cars, and believe it or not, the Gremlins did pretty well.
Yep.
Good stuff, Randy. Thank you so much for the phone call. We appreciate it. Let's go to Frank in Estes Park. Frank, welcome. What's going on today, sir? Okay. Okay. That is a very good question. It's a good question because you're working on something that not the average typical, even the typical heavy equipment, shop isn't going to know that answer either, because they just don't do that much when it comes to the swapping around of sorts. What research have you done, or what have you found, or have you found anything yet? Okay, so here's a question for you. What does that thing drive? Is it, if it's in a skid steer, is it just driving a big hydraulic pump? And if so, how's it driving the pump? Okay, so do you think you could take another 40 horsepower type diesel engine, Kubota, something along those lines, and adapt that and make it work?
I'll tell you what. Give me a call at the shop at Larry's Automotive Monday. I've got a friend that does a lot of repower stuff, and he might have something that might work for you, or might know of something that might work for you. That phone number is 303-427-2108. But he does a lot with repowers.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
It's 303-427-2108, and ask for Jeff.
Have you been able to find a crankshaft at all for your engine yet, or have you even tried that? Got it. Well, that's not very many.
Yeah.
Well, What's wrong with it? What did the crankshaft go bad or what? And what on? Okay, so because here's another question for you. Since you found those other parts, what are they telling you on the crank is bad? Under. That's quite a bit on a diesel. Oh, it's a little gas engine. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
So, can anybody weld it?
Yeah, I was going to say you could actually get somebody to rebuild that crankshaft. Really? Call Jeff on Monday, and we can get you some resources. You may still be able to rebuild because if you can rebuild what you've got, that's always going to be the easiest, even the cheapest thing to do when it's all said and done. Call Jeff on Monday, and let's see if we can find somebody that can rebuild that crankshaft for you. I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that can do that. They can weld it up and grind it if they have to. And that, I assume that was just a machine shop you found giving you this info. Yeah, let's find you a machine shop that can help you get that fixed, and because if you can keep that same engine in it, you're going to be a lot better off in the end. Yeah, okay, let's see if we can do that. Give your number one more time, Jeff.
303-427-2108. Okay.
All right, appreciate it. And Frank, if you need that phone number again and something happened, you couldn't write it down, you can always go to our website, drive-radio.com. Click on member shops. Larry's Automotive and Transmission is listed right there. The same phone number that Jeff just gave out is listed right there on our website. Real easy to find, not a problem. It's Larry's Automotive and Transmission. Again, find him at drive-radio.com. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll take some more calls. Anything you guys need to talk about, i.e. skid steers, which we just covered, 303-477-5600. There's really not anything that doesn't have an engine in it we won't talk about, literally, because in reality, between Jeff and I, there's probably not too many things that move we haven't had some sort of association with.
That's for sure.
Move with a mechanical engine, I'm trying to say.
That, well,
because we do a lot of stuff. I mean, even all the way down to little engines, go-karts, small engine repair stuff, you name it. We've pretty much done all of that. Again, call us 303-477-5600. Most of all, be safe. But you're listening to us on AM 560 KLZ, also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM.
Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine that worked for Stewart.
Somebody should be able to weld that up and fix that. It's not that big a
the
deal.
wrong shop.
Exactly.
They don't want to mess with it.
They just don't want to work on it.
I bet you Terry over at Western can get it done.
Watch these plow drivers out here.
Oh, are they plowing? Hang on, I gotta look. Where are they at?
There's one over here. A red truck right over there.
What is he doing?
He's plowing there, but he came down from the straight down here. And he plowed right down here to this big puddle right here by the fence. And when he pushed it up, you could watch all the water just splash out.
That's normal. Why is he pushing everything right there in the middle? That deal.
But there's that truck there. There's one over there up by the front of the building there.
Yeah.
And then there's another one on the other side of the building over there.
Oh, this guy over here is pushing. Okay, nice.
But with that heavy snow, that's got to take its toll on the plows.
Oh, it's tough on things. Although you should watch me. No offense, this whole lower lot I could clear in half an hour.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I am, and I'm not bragging, but I've done it for so long that I can do it in my sleep. And when we go and bid stuff, they make sure they don't take me along.
Really?
Because if I say, well, this will, what the guys will do is if I say, well, it'll take about half an hour, like, okay, well, that's an hour for normal people, and that's how we bid, jobs and stuff. Because if they go off of me, we always lose money because nobody else does it that fast. For example, that whole upper lots at the event center. If a normal snowstorm, I can clear that whole place in about an hour and a half myself. I send my guys up. It takes two guys an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it.
Why is that?
Just slower, and some of it is just I've done it for so long that I started pushing snow at the dealership in a half cab Jeep when I was 13. So I've been pushing snow for literally and then doing it as a living, because my dad, we pushed snow when he bought the company from the guy that had it before him. That was back in 1990, And so, there's only been but a few seasons I've been pushing snow, even when he was doing it from 1990 to now. So commercially speaking, the dealership was a little different. You didn't have quite the same pressure you have when you're out doing stuff for everybody else. I mean, now the pressure's on. You got to get stuff, whipped in and out, get it done as quickly as possible. And it's tough. In the defense of these guys during the day, I hate pushing snow during the day because you got too many cars around. People in cars, traffic, it's tough. In defense of them, it's tough. It takes more time when that's going on.
I watched you plowing this way, a car would right in front of
But stupid. It's like, people, what are you doing? In defense of that guy, it's like, he's got a job to do. Let him do his job.
Get out of his way.
Exactly. Get out of his way. Leave him alone. I don't get that.
I stay as far away from those guys. as I can.
Thank you. Me too.
Well, you go find out where
We
they're
got
parked.
blasted on Google and something else the other day because the last big snowstorm. My guys were over at Flatirons Marketplace, and a little gal in a BMW. Guy was backing. My plow driver was backing up, and she pulled right in back of him, and basically to the point where he didn't see her, and he ran into her. And I'm like, I'm not paying for that. Sorry. First of all, you're out in a BMW in a 20-inch snowstorm with ball tires. Not my fault. You couldn't stop in time. And I refused to pay. I told my insurance company, don't pay the bill. I'm not paying for it. So she blasted us on Google. It's the worst company in the world. They won't stand behind their stuff. Blah blah blah. I'm thinking, no, you're an idiot, and I'm not paying for your stupid mistake.
Yeah.
For your being a dummy.
Yeah.
And you know what her excuse was? Well, I'm gonna get a sandwich on my way up to go snowboarding. I'm like, I don't care. Stay home.
Yeah.
No joke. She's driving a BMW 3 Series ball tires.
Well, I've heard over the years that skiers are the worst people.
Yep.
The way they drive, the way they.
Well, they're entitled too.
Yeah.
They deserve to be there. And that's the way this little gal was. And fortunately, the insurance company said, well, there's really not enough proof one way or the other. She can't prove you did it.
It's on private property.
It's private property. She can't prove you did. You can't prove she did. There's really no damage to your vehicle. And what it did was that she pulled right into where the edge of the snowplow blade hit the very bottom of her door by about this much. Put a little crease in the bottom of the door. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for that. And knowing where the crease was and knowing what happened, I can see exactly what you did. You pulled in right in his blind spot where he couldn't see you were there. He was backing out, just like what you just talked about a minute ago with the cars darting around. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not paying for that.
You
Sorry.
see somebody with a plow.
Stay away.
Stay away.
First of all, what are you out in a 20-inch snowstorm for anyways? Oh.
Can we blow it up?
That's me. I just did that. Are they working? Or you got dial tone?
10 seconds. And then here's the thing, they were bringing in, and I went to go grab it, but nothing was on here. So.
You get dial tone, Larry? Call it and see if it works.
Give me just a second, guys.
And that is Larry Younger's birthday today, just for him. He's 27 today, by the way, just so everybody knows, 27.
27.
Would it be nice to be 27 again, or not? Would you like to go back in time and be 27 all over?
I've often said I would love to go back to the point where I started with what I know now.
I'd like to go back to like age 18 and start over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I do different.
A lot. That maybe.
You learn a lot in all these years, don't
That
you?
hindsight 2020.
Oh man. And by the way, why do they call it hindsight's 2020? Because that's clear vision or what?
No, it's just you've been there, done that.
I mean, but 2020, why isn't it hindsight 30-20 or 30-30 or 50-50?
I
Or
don't know.
is 2020 vision is the clearest or what? I guess that's why Mindy's giving me a thumbs up, so it makes
Normal.
sense. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. We've got several things going on later in the show. JFR Cars is going to be joining us. Joaquin, maybe from Denver Collision Experts, will be joining us. We'll see if these guys make it in with the snow. We'll see what happens. But I'm guessing that Joaquin will either want to be on air or calling in because this will be a big day for him, I'm guessing, as time goes by.
Yes.
The collision industry loves snowstorms like this.
These snowstorms are the gift that keeps giving.
That's very true. It is very true. All right, give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Any questions that you've got, especially with Jeff Kinney being on, the transmission expert, if you've got a transmission question of any kind, today is the day to call in because Jeff's our expert. Maybe you've got some question you've always wondered. What do you do if you're in a snowstorm and you get stuck? On modern cars, be careful how you operate the transmission if you get stuck because it could have very adverse, let's just say it could be very adverse on the transmission.
Let's just say it can affect your wallet adversely.
Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes here. Let's do that real quick, Jeff, before we go to our next break. What are the no-nos of people driving modern cars, modern transmissions when it comes to being stuck in a snowbank or even like a day like that you're trying to get out of a parking lot or something along those lines? What are the no-nos of doing driving an automatic transmission?
Well, the biggest thing is that when you get a car stuck with an automatic, what kills the vehicle more than anything else anymore is they overheat the transmission.
Okay, and they do that how?
They do that by rocking them back and forth. And I could go into the stall speed of the converter and da-da-da-da-da. But ultimately, when you get them stuck and you're rocking back and forth, you're building a ton of heat. And that heat breaks down the oil. It can't do its job. Not to mention all the mechanical parts that you're slamming back and forth inside the case.
Okay.
And ultimately, that's what kills it. The heat of the oil, it can't do its job cooling. It can't do its job lubricating. You get the ab pack broke down with the heat, and it just doesn't work.
Okay.
The lubricity in the oil, the bushings fail. You got rubber parts in there that fail. The clutches fail. There's a multitude of things. The biggest thing is please, if you get stuck, don't rock back and forth. Dig yourself out. Wait till you can get somebody to help pull you out or whatever. But I love working on transmissions, but boy, I hate seeing people come in crying because, I got stuck and I had to get out.
And a lot of what Jeff's trying to explain also is, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but manufacturers now have got these transmissions built where they are basically just on the edge of being heavy enough to do what the car needs to do, because if they go any heavier, it then starts to cost them in fuel economy, cost, things along those lines. So it's not like they're underbuilt, but they're also not overbuilt. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, you're 100% right there. And on some of the cars, they're right at the edge of the power to weight ratio for the transmission. The other thing that GM has done is they have cut their fluid capacities down for weight reasons.
Weight and cost.
And the one thing that people don't know is on the GM units, they put the computer inside the transmission for the transmission. Okay. And when they did that, when that computer gets hot, it just goes to nothing. So and on another part of that, if you put the wrong fluid in that unit, if you don't use the proper fluid and it doesn't cool properly, it will shut the unit down.
Okay, so just a little math. This is another reason why some of these manufacturers are doing this. If you could cut 1 quart of transmission fluid out of every single car you build, I just ran rough numbers. Let's say you build 1 million cars a year, and these guys are building more than that. Let's say you build 1 million cars a year, and you can just take 1 quart of fluid out. Typically speaking, because they don't get a huge break on oil because, costs are costs. They're not getting a much better deal on oil than probably anybody else out there is. They may be getting a little more because they're buying in volume. But let's just say for sake of the conversation, that oil costs them $2 a quart.
Yeah.
And that may be a little high, it might be a little low, but if you did 1 million cars a year and you save $2, that's $2 million.
Yeah.
That goes right to the bottom line.
Exactly.
Now that's just one small example of why in some cases they can cut back and why they do it, because it's a cost savings measure.
Exactly.
If they can make the vehicle and the transmission work effectively on a day-to-day basis, great. They're not planning on you being stuck in a 8-foot snowdrift or a 2-foot snowdrift or whatever it happens to be, or in some cases depending on the car itself, you might get stuck in a 1-foot.
Exactly. And the thing is that the manufacturer looks to get their car out of warranty.
Good point.
Okay. And
they're not worried about you driving the car 10 years. What you're saying.
They're not. So that's why they give you 100,000 mile fluid interval change, or they don't list one, or whatever. And that's one of the reasons why your independents tend to push servicing transmissions sooner than what the manufacturer is, because it's the only way you're going to get that fluid out of there and make sure it's fresh.
Got it. Makes total sense. All right, so I've got some of the, let's just say this, 25 of the coolest car names. We started off the show asking you what is your favorite car name, or for that matter, your worst car name. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. So the number one out of the 25, I'll tell you as soon as we come back. Share some of those stories with us also. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. John Rush, your host. Jeff Kitty also with me. This is Drive Radio, heard on AM 560, also 95.3 and 100.7 FM.
So Larry, it was trying to go in earlier because he found out that this is actually 2015 is the now instead of 2020 is actually 2015.
Oh, 2015. Okay. Okay.
I took my daughter down so she could have LASIK. I was talking with the doctor. I said, "You can have 2020." And he said, "No, she's on 2015." I said, "What's 2015?" He said, "Well, that's the best exact you can get."
Denver collision experts are supposedly on the way up. I think he's supposed to join us at, let me look here. He's supposed to join us like 11.
That's close
Yeah,
enough.
so when we go out to Houston, if we see him before that, we'll let him in. But he's supposedly on his way. He's supposedly already here.
I'll let him check the door to see if he's.
If he is, we can let him in a little early. Doesn't matter. Not a big deal. Joaquin, come on in.
Have a seat.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. This is Jeff Kitty.
Jeff, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter. Either one. Headset should be here. Volume you can adjust here. When you talk into the mic, stay about this close to it if you would.
Okay.
You want to check his mic, Mindy, or not?
Yeah,
Go ahead and talk into that mic for just a second, Joaquin.
Hello.
Okay, we're good. Perfect. Make it down okay?
Yeah.
No problems?
No problems.
Good.
Take a little extra time, but it was good.
Good. If we come back, we need to mention these. You can get these.
Oh, I'm telling you, those things are flying.
Get these. We'll make note of that.
We could use some more.
I've got more out here right now. We can get on the way out.
We need some.
Okay.
Just about everybody takes one.
15 seconds.
All right, and this is John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Jeff Kitty is also sitting in with us, and Joaquin has just joined us. We'll be talking about some collision stuff here in a minute. Joaquin's from Denver Collision Experts. You can find him at denvercollision.com. Real quick, though, we had a caller earlier talking about that Continental engine in that skid steer. And my dad actually emailed this to me. So if you're still listening, I think that was Frank up in Estes Park. SteinerTractor.com has some old Continental motor parts. So you might see if they've actually got a crankshaft. It's STEINER tractor.com. So SteinerTractor.com has some old Continental motor parts. You can go there and just see if they've got anything that might fit that engine that way. And that might actually be one of your best bets. So Frank, if you're still listening, see if that might work. Or Jeff, if he calls you on Monday, I'll send you that link. That way you've got it that way. All right. All right. So let's do our first in the list of the 26 cars with the coolest car names. And the first one is the Alfa Romeo Disco Volante. It's a pretty good name. The Disco Volante. Again, it's one of those, rolls off your tongue. The Volante.
Volante.
It's like the Avante, the Studebaker. So
There you go.
that was the first one. We'll go through these as we go through the rest of the show. And if you've got a favorite car name, give us a call, 303-477-5600. You also might have a question for Joaquin, who's now joining us. Again, Denver Collision Experts. Joaquin will be with us here for just a little bit. He trudged down through the snow and is joining us now. So we appreciate him joining us right now and being on with us. So Joaquin, welcome to your first shot on Drive Radio. How are we doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it very much. He's got a shop over at 1240 Harlan Street in Lakewood. The zip code there is 80214. Not that far away. Actually, pretty centrally located.
Centrally located.
That's right. Phone number there, 303-761-0955. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick on the collision side, and Joaquin can chime in on this. If you're involved in an accident, so first things first, let's do this. Kevin Flesh Law, who's a great attorney and a sponsor now of Drive Radio. You can find him at fleshlawfirm.com. He put together these neat little handy registration holders.
Yes.
And on them is his name, and there's a card inside that actually talks about what to do if you're pulled over by the police. You flip it over. It's also what if you're involved in a car accident. Both of those are there. One of the things that's not on this card, and I'm going to have Kevin maybe change these up the next time we do this. One of the things that happens in a car accident is typically you're going to talk to an insurance company. And as you're talking to that insurance company, they're going to say, well, we prefer you take the car to one of these 3 shops.
Yeah.
And frankly, you don't have to go to any of those shops if you don't want to. In fact, when they do that, it's called steering in our industry. It's actually illegal. They can say it's a preferred shop, but they cannot make you go to a particular shop they want you to go to. Joaquin, am I correct in that?
Yes, you are correct. You actually have the chance and the right to take your car to the shop of your preference, to any shop that you want to.
Any shop you want to fix your car, you can
Yes,
go there. That
absolutely.
insurance company then has to deal with that particular shop. So in your case, Joaquin, you can deal with an insurance company just as easily as any other repair shop, collision center in town can, correct?
Yes, we can do it, and we have been doing it for the last year and a half here in Denver. So yeah, we can do that for you guys.
So if a guy comes in, or I should say guy, anybody comes in, guy, gal, young, old, doesn't matter. They just got rear-ended, something happened. The car may or may not be drivable. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But when they actually go through to get the estimate and get that handled with the insurance company, you can be that go-between, that middleman, so that customer is not talking to the insurance company. Am I correct in that?
Yes, you are correct. Once you get the car in the shop, then it's in our hands, and we deal with insurance from A to Z until the car is finished. So you just have to come back and get your car all repaired and good to go.
Okay, so is there any jobs too little or too big that you won't do?
No, nothing is too little, nothing is too big. We can do any little scratch or fender bender, or all the way to a major collision. And as you could see, John, when you came to the shop, we also do restorations on
Yes, you do.
classic cars. So
Yeah, I want to hold that for a moment. We'll talk about that because you
nothing
do
is-
some great classic car
nothing
stuff.
is too small or nothing is too big for us.
All right, so if you've got a question on collision stuff, maybe paint work, what to do, how to handle certain things when it comes to your paint and body, the collision side of the fence, 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Again, Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts is with us. His phone number, which you can call him during the week, 303-761-0955. You can also find him right on our website. Just go to drive-radio.com. He's on the front page there. Click on it. It takes you right to his website. Really, really easy to do that. So we got calls coming in. We got one line open. It's all 303-477-5600. So, Joaquin, one of the things I wanted to get into, which we talked about a moment ago, is you also do some really great restoration work.
Yes, we do.
And what I mean by that is not just great restoration work. I've seen some pictures of vehicles where you actually took what I would call a basket case car, In other words, the car is spread all over somebody else's shop from one end to the other. Most of the components, you're wondering where are they all at even. You go, you get all of that stuff. You got this is a real story, a real life story of Joaquin. You go, you pick the car up because the shop is now broke, gone, out of business. You go there, pick the car up, get everything rounded up, and assemble. Basically, go through, put all that car back together, and it's show condition when you're done.
Yes, absolutely. This was a 1956 Pontiac Starchief, and there was not even a car, and it was just a bucket. And that bucket was actually full of holes. And being a Pontiac, there is not many parts for these Pontiac cars anymore. So we end up fabricating a lot of it and came up with a wonderful car. And
Oh, it was beautiful. You did a good job. In fact, one of the tests that I did for Joaquin, just so you all know out there listening, one of the vetting things that I did to make sure that Joaquin is the guy that he says he is. Not that I didn't believe him, but you always want to check things out to make sure, because I'm vouching for Joaquin on a weekly basis. So I wanted to make sure things checked out. So I went back, and my dad and my uncle, and they're really into the restoration, hot rod side of the fence. And they said, hey, have you guys ever heard of a guy down at Denver Collision Experts? And actually your other name is what? Rocky Mountain
Customs and Classics.
Rocky Mountain Customs. Have you ever heard of a guy at Rocky Mountain Customs? I'm like, well, I think I have. And I said, well, do you know anybody that's, you've been to some of the shows and so on. What about a 55 Pontiac? And the first answer, Joaquin, was, that's the guy that did that Pontiac. 56. And I said, yep. And he's like, well, let me tell you what, if his work is, if that car is a representation of his work, you found a great guy. Because my dad said that car was absolutely flawless.
Yes, and
Beautiful.
I want to say something. It's just, we are the head of the business, but it's a full team
Right.
work. So
Yes.
thanks to the guys that
Yes,
work with me.
very good
And,
point, Joaquin.
it's
Great
just
point.
A whole full.
Anyways, that was the vouching that I got, was, my dad knew that car, saw that car, said, listen, if Joaquin did that car, there's probably nothing you couldn't take to him to get done, because he knew the whole story behind the car and all of that. So let's go to the phones. Gary is up first. Gary, welcome to Drive Radio. What's going on today, sir? Right on. Right on. Yep. Right on. Right on. Right on. Love to hear that, Gary. I cannot, and that was, by the way, not a paid advertisement. Gary didn't do that because I paid him to do it. Gary, I know that's from the heart. I appreciate that very, very, very much, and I know Joaquin does as well.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
All right, Gary, take care. That was not solicited, by the way. I appreciate that very much. So, Gary, thank you so much for that that endorsement of Joaquin. I appreciate that. JR, you are next. Good morning. Thanks, JR. Right on. Oop, and JR, I lost you. I tell you what, let's do this. JR, we just lost you. Don't know why. Sounds like you may have been on a cell phone. Call us back. We're running out of time for this hour. I'll get you on right at the top of the hour because I'd love to answer your question. I know Joaquin would also. I don't know what the question was. I couldn't quite get all of it to know exactly what the question was going to be. Give us a call back. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. But again, we're talking to Joaquin, Denver Collision Experts. The phone number there, 303-761-0955. He's going to be with us through the next hour, just a little bit, and we'll keep him around as long as we can here, because today is a day where you hopefully won't, but you may find yourself on the receiving end of a little collision. Let's hope not, but you never know. If so, we've got a guy here that'll help you out. Joaquin will be with us again through the 11 o'clock hour. So join us. If you're listening on Sunday, by the way, I thank you very much for doing so. You just can't call in. We have a lot of Sunday listeners. I appreciate that very much. You're welcome to email me. Go to john@drive-radio.com or go right to our website, drive-radio.com. Send us a message. I'll get it answered even over the weekend. I'll do my best to do it. Maybe out plowing some snow tomorrow, but you never know. I'll still take some time to answer those questions. So 303-477-5600 is our number here. Give us a call. We'll get you geared up for the next hour of Drive Radio coming your way right here on KLZ 560. All right, we use the restroom, guys. You need anything, Joaquin? You good?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
No, thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. And that was a great testimonial
Thanks
from
for coming
Gary. You know, and Gary's an IRS agent.
Good to know.
He's still a good guy, but he's an IRS agent. He does big corporate stuff,
Okay.
but just so you know, that's who he is. So an endorsement from him, pretty good endorsement.
That's good to
So-
know. Yeah. Yeah, he was happy.
JR called back.
So you have the mechanic shop or?
We've got Larry's Automotive over in Westminster.
Excuse me, you guys water, but do you need cups or oh no, there's cups.
We've got
behind it.
cups
There's
of
water there. Thanks.
All right, sweet. Okay, I'm Larry.
I think it is Joaquin.
Can't argue with that testament there.
No,
That's it.
that was a good one.
This was.
Actually had another guy, a bigger collision. That was an insurance job. The guy brought the car in, he lived with everything, and then he came and got it. And we did the little extra mile, you know, taking care of some scratches here and there next to the damage area. He was super happy.
Not bad, not bad. That's all it takes, is a little extra. Yes, be
Yes,
happy.
yes, absolutely. And that customer will bring another one.
Mhm.
Yeah. I said one happy customer will bring you one more.
Well, no,
One unhappy customer will take 10 away from you.
That's.
well, the one thing I can tell you is a lot of people don't track how the show does for you, but we probably gain 15-20% business, and for the price of it,
Mhm.
it's better than any other advertising we've got.
Yes. Referrals.
It takes a while to get it going, but once it gets going, they hear your name. It's definitely helped us to the point where I'm thinking about getting rid of some of the other advertising.
Yeah, that was a problem to keep up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, finding people is the right help. You find a lot of technicians, but not all of them are the right ones.
yeah, that is for sure.
And the new guys, the younger guys, I don't know what
They have no clue.
They want to come in and make a big buck without knowing it.
They don't want to go through the
To the process that we
through the
went in.
learning.
Yeah, you know,
And what you do, I mean, everybody thinks that they can do body work, but no.
yeah, I don't. They bring the resumes and they say, the only thing I need is you to go back there, show me.
Yeah. And I've done that a lot. I just soon have to show me what they can do. Because I've seen some fabulous resumes. It's more creative writing than anything else.
Exactly. Should we get pretty close here?
Okay, if you'd like to at least a handout,
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you grab some
I
for
got
us?
some more for us, yeah.
There's a bunch more. Grab whatever you need.
Well, the box not empty.
Empty it. Doesn't matter. Empty it, and I'll have Kevin give me some more.
And it's so funny because Kevin was just.
And once he runs out, we're gonna put our name on him next time and kind of join in on that.
Well, I think I've got everybody on the council meeting Wednesday.
Okay.
So gave Dorsey some last week. I gave Ray some already. I gave Dennis some already.
Okay.
I gave Stacia some last week. I think Kenzie all that I haven't given to him.
Okay. I'll get more. Here we go. And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive and Transmission, joining me today, and Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts is also here with us. Joaquin, I apologize, last name.
Tejas Vega.
I don't have that. I knew that. It's just not in my notes right in front of me. I'll write that down. All right. Any questions on the collision side of the fence or transmission side of the fence or any side of the fence? We can answer it. 303-477-5600. I think JR is calling us back. If you're just joining us this second hour, we got Joaquin in late during that first hour to sort of talk about collisions and accidents and what happens and what he can do. And we'll get more into that as the show goes on. So don't worry, we'll cover more of it. We'll answer as many questions though as you want to call in, because this will not be Joaquin's last visit. He'll be back. So whatever we don't get to him today, we will get in the future. So don't worry about that. So if you got questions, we'll take your questions first. 303-477-5600. JR, welcome back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. We lost you. No, they are not. Yep, there we go.
Yep. Thank you.
That's a great question, Joaquin.
Yes, you can take it to any shop of your preference, the one you want. They don't have to dictate where you have to take the car. I was just going to say, yeah, JR, the only exception to that is if you are impeding traffic. And what happens then is, and I've talked to Dennis Brewster out at Extreme about this, who owns a tow company. So the way that works, if you're impeding traffic and you cannot get the vehicle out of that lane of traffic, every jurisdiction works with different tow companies that will come, take that car, tow it, and in that particular case, unless it's someplace close that you want it towed to, it will most likely go to their impound, and you will then have to tow it from the impound to Joaquin or whoever else you're going to have actually do the work on the vehicle, whether it's mechanical work or whether it's collision work. So there are some exceptions to that. Now, if you're in a wreck and you can get the thing off the road, it's not impeding traffic, you're in a parking lot or you're way off the shoulder, things along those lines, you then can have that car towed directly to Denver Collision. That's right. Yeah. If you can get it towed right off the bat to Joaquin, by all means, that's the best way to do it. But I say, there's a big but here. There have been situations, even myself included, where a particular vehicle, it's out of my control. The state patrol's involved. It's impeding traffic. At that point, it gets hauled, maybe to your own house, maybe to your own lot, your own yard, or to Joaquin's. But it's dicey. You have to be really involved, and I'll be honest with you, you've got to be really proactive to get that car towed where you want it at that point.
Yeah.
It's a money issue, and that's where if you get the right tow company, and believe it or not, I've had some tow companies that work with State Patrol where I've said, I just want that thing towed back to my lot. Will you do that? Sure, we'll do it. And they just haul it right in and not a problem. And from that point, I can then do whatever I need to. Not always is it that way, though. There are some really, I'm just going to be honest here, guys. There's some dicey tow companies in town where that's not always that easy. I'm just saying it as it is. All right, JR, appreciate that. And by the way, that was a fantastic question because there's some misconception on that. You'll think, well, I can call my own company. I call my own tow company, have them come get it. Not always. Depending upon the jurisdiction, the city, the county, the state, wherever you're at and what you're doing to impede traffic, you may not have any control over that accident. Now, you have a big fender bender in a parking lot or it gets shoved off the side of the road and you can get it into a parking lot or a side road or something along those lines. Yep, you're in full control at that point. You can do whatever you want to. And if the car is drivable, you drive it to Denver Collision. It's that easy. Now, drivable, key word, safely. Lights working, taillights working, headlights working, all of that. Make sure everything is working where you're not going to get another ticket on your way to Joaquin's place.
And not leaking oil.
Thank you. Coolant, gasoline, any fluids.
Make
That's
sure
right, any
you
fluids.
turn the wheels.
Exactly.
That type of thing.
All right, so any questions for Joaquin? We've got him with us today, 303-477-5600. We talked earlier in the first hour. Give everybody a refresher in case you're just tuning in. Denver Collision Experts, 1240 Harlan Street, Lakewood, Colorado. You can find them by calling 303-761-0355 or just go right to our website, drive-radio.com. You'll find them listed right there. Click on the link and it takes you right to Denver Collision Experts website. It's denvercollision.com. But Joaquin, you said earlier, no job too little, no job too big. And one thing I want to highlight on is even some of you out there that are driving some really exotics or some really, I don't want to say this, precious cars. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Some of you have got cars that are older. You want to make sure they get fixed correctly, the paint matches, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I still see cars, Joaquin, driving around, and just because of me being in the industry as long as I've been, I can typically pick out when something's been painted if it wasn't done correctly because the color doesn't match. Do you run into that at all?
Yes, we do run into that a lot, and there's a technique called blending into the next panel where you paint the door, but you need to blend the next door to it. So the matching of the color is just not perfect because there is no perfection on the colors, but you get to blending so you cannot see any difference whatsoever on any color.
And it helps, and I know this is from being on the industry side of the fence as long as I was, and I know you have this capability because I saw it. You have your own mixing equipment where you actually can mix all of your own colors on site. And I know in some cases, if a car gets old enough, sometimes it's not even that the color's not correct, it's just things have faded, things have changed over time. You guys have the ability to actually change the tint or the color of that paint just a little bit to help even match better, do you not?
That's correct. Yeah, there is a chance to touch up the same color. The code is the same, but the color doesn't look the same because of the age of the weather. And there's many.
And painting techniques have changed even in the last 10 years,
That's
right?
Yes. So, but being able to have the control over the mixing band, then you can touch up your color and make it better.
Got it. And you have all that mixing equipment there, which most people don't understand. That it's not like when you order paint. You've seen guys at Home Depot at the hardware store, for example, go in and add all these different colors and so on and different things. It's not an off-the-shelf sort of a thing when you go to mix car paint, is it?
No, it's not that way. It's all do it by hand, and you weight actually the colors.
It's color weight, right?
Yes, and one color.
To micron, it's microns, right? Micron weight, right?
Yes, it's grams.
Grams.
Yes, it's grams. And one particular coat can have up to 12 to 15 different tints. So it's an art as well to mix the color.
It's very much an art. And the guy mixing the paint, and typically painters have I'll just say it, Joaquin, you know this as well as I, they've got an eye for that. They can see the colors, they can see the tints. They know blue from gray, from silver, and people don't really understand all of the different shades that go into a color of paint. It's actually fascinating when you look at a particular paint code. You'll say, well, I didn't know that had any red in it, or I didn't know it had yellow, or I didn't know it had, whatever. But you look at the paint code, and there's all these different tints, and it will have some of those colors I just mentioned in some of those.
Yes, they do. Yeah, there is one blue can have green, red, and yellow, or even the black ones. Most of the black ones have white and yellow on them.
Yeah.
So black paint will have white and yellow in it.
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah, it really is.
it's just people outside don't see the whole process, but there is a whole process behind every single color.
And right now, and we get into more of this as we go, but most people probably don't understand. in today's world, all of the colors out there have what they call a clear coat on it. So it's a multi-stage paint. In the old days, you painted one color. In some cases, if it was no lacquer paint, you'd sand that off, you'd buff it up, and there you go. Enamels were a little different. But in today's world, it's all two-stage paint, correct?
Yeah, it is two-stage. The base color, which is the actual color, and then the clear coat, and that protects the vehicle for the rays, the sun, and all these intemperies, weather stuff.
Now, is there this is a side note. Mark, I'll get to you in a second. Don't worry. He's got a question on a bumper. I want to get to that, but I want to finish this out. Is there a standard for how many coats of either the base layer or the clear that you actually put on a vehicle? Does it vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, paint quality to paint quality, or how does that work?
Yeah, it does varies from paint quality to paint quality, and also normally you would do 3 to 4 coats of base color and at least 3 coats of clear coat on any repair.
Okay, and isn't the object though to put as little material on the car as possible?
No, I guess no, it's not an object.
Okay.
You just have to use the right amount, and it's not an object.
Okay, all right, good. And again, things change. Because in the old days, it used to be you tried to put the least amount of material on the car as possible because you had the risk of some of that, let's face it, the old days, some of that material coming back off through UV. We didn't have the quality of paint that we've got today. You know, I was doing things 30, 40 years ago. We didn't have the quality of paint that we've got today, do we? I mean, did we?
No. There's a big difference, and everything has improved, and it's now more quality, and it's a better quality paint.
All right, let's do this. Mark in Black Forest, you're next. Mark, welcome. What's going on today? Sure. Great question. Great question, Joaquin.
Yes,
You would know that better. With all the restoration work you do, that'd be a good question.
Yeah, there is no more chroming places in Denver metro area. We know of one that is in Fort Collins, and we haven't tried it actually. But normally we send all of our chrome out of state, let's say Texas, California, or Utah. Actually, there is a place in Utah, and if you can call the shop, I can give you the name of the shop, and then you can send it yourself, or you can bring it to the shop, and then we arrange it for you.
So what he's saying, Mark, is nobody in Denver. There's somebody now in Fort Collins, but nobody in the Denver metro area does any re-chroming at all anymore. And you can thank, by the way, you can thank the EPA for that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess you need to bring it to the shop so we can see it and see the best way to restore it and bring it back to life.
In some cases, you could re-chrome some pot metal. It depends, and I know what Joaquin's saying. It depends on the quality
Yes.
of that metal that's underneath there and whether that can actually be done or not. Now, I also will tell you this: there are now, Mark, some really interesting ways of chroming even plastic pieces and things like that. That's where you need to get it to Joaquin and have him look at it, because there might be alternatives rather than having it re-chromed to actually get that handled.
That's correct. Yes.
No, what I'm talking about is the coating side of the fence. There's way more coating options today than there used to be. For example, powder coating, Cerakoting. There's even a plastic, or there's the ability to actually chrome plastic. For example, all the new cars where you see a mirror. That mirror is plastic. It is not a metal mirror, but it's still chromed. But it's a different process to put that chrome on than what it normally is with a bumper.
Yes, there's actually a new product in the market, which is a sprayable chrome. It looks like chrome. It's paint, but it looks like chrome. So we haven't done that much of that, but you can do that.
That's going to come on stronger because of a lot of the newer, because there's very little chrome metal components on new cars. A lot of the pieces that you guys are seeing out there are plastic pieces that are either painted, or they've got a chrome-like appearance to them, or they're highly brushed aluminum or polished aluminum, things along those lines. There's not as much chroming going on as it used to be on new cars. All right, you bet, Mark. Appreciate that very much. And yes, not being political here, but you can thank the government, the EPA, for the lack of actual chrome shops that are out there. And in defense of a lot of those shops, and what I just said is true, there's not as much chroming to do as there used to be. Unless you're doing an older car, restoration, things like that. Even new trucks, some of the chrome pieces you see on a new truck, they may have one small little piece of that bumper that's actually metal with chrome on it. Everything else is a plastic component, right, Joaquin?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So
There's
all
no-
bolted together.
Yeah, there's not much chrome anymore.
Yeah, and the reasons is because it's a very toxic, it's just something that's really hard to handle and do it correctly where you're within all of the EPA guidelines.
So, we were talking about paint. How thick is an actual layer of paint on a vehicle?
Hold that thought. That's a perfect segue. We'll come right back. We're up against a break. We'll come back, answer Jeff's question in just a minute. If you got questions for Joaquin, anything collision related, paint related, transmission related, you name it, we've got guys here that'll answer the question. 303-477-5600. This is Drive Radio, KLZ 560, also heard on 95.3 FM and 100.7 FM. Good question, Jeff.
It goes by millimeters.
Well, that's
Yes. So you cannot have this regularly related to what you
and
said.
that's why I was.
If you have too much, if you have too little, disappears.
Good point. It's fun. I enjoy this. Yeah, like that chrome in there.
It's amazing how you can get stainless
Mm-hmm.
to polish up just about
Mhm.
like chrome.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you too, Joaquin, because we get questions periodically on wheels. Do you have anybody, or do you do any kind of factory wheel restoration if one gets curb checked or anything along those lines?
Yeah, we have a couple of shops that we
Perfect.
take.
We'll ask that too. Then that'll fit right
Bring
into.
them to us.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. I looked out the front window and you can see on Havana now the roads are just wet now, Jeff.
Well,
Temp came up a little.
yeah, but look at the cloud cover or whatever you want to call it, the ceilings.
No, once it gets cold again, it'll start sticking. But for now, my point was going home. It won't be in trouble going home. It's easy. Roads are just wet at this point. Where do you live, Joaquin?
Woodridge,
Okay, not too far from
Where
me
about?
then.
Wheat Ridge.
38 in Tabor.
Okay.
It's actually the Applewood.
You're not far from me. I live over I'm at 51st and McIntyre, so I'm not that far from you. I actually have a paint booth in my shop. The guy that I bought my house from was an old body shop owner guy, had Hank's Auto Body here in town for years. So I've got a small paint booth about the size of this room. You can't put a car in it, but it's about the size of this room. He was the booth I have. I found out the other day from him. I didn't realize this, but the booth I have is a prototype where he built this prototype for the big paint booth company, so they can actually slide parts on a rail system into it, paint it, and slide them right back out. Just keep a production line going of small parts. So they built one of these for like Lear, who does all the toppers and stuff. They built one that was like a football field long, where they can roll those toppers through and gel coat them and shoot them and all that. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. To me, it's just taking up space. I don't know if I'll ever use it.
Take a good place to put that. Yeah.
Had a caller ask if Joaquin does aluminum repair
Oh, good. Okay.
and give out his address one more time.
Okay, we'll do it. Thanks.
And they're stealing all my questions.
I knew when Joaquin would come on, we'd have good questions.
Yeah.
Because the collision thing, we've never had a good collision shop be a partner with us. It's been years since we've had anybody at all.
Yeah. Well, fine.
And all these people driving, have fender benders and stuff. Here we go. Getting close. 30 seconds. right, and this is John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Jeff Kitty, of course, from Larry's Automotive and Transmission is with me. Joaquin Vega, also from Denver Collision Experts, is with me. We're talking about some collision stuff. We can also talk transmissions or weather or tires or car names, which I haven't gotten back to this hour, but we will as time goes by, so don't worry. Let's go to Mike, who's on the phone next, though. Mike, welcome. What's going on, sir? Doing great. Okay, great. You are it. And am I right in saying that it's really the EPA that's driven a lot of those guys out, or is it just the marketplace? Which is it, or is it a combination of the two? That's what I thought. Yeah. What just as a side note, real quick, Mike, what steps do you have to go through to to be all EPA compliant and all of that? How does that work? Give us a little insight. Really? Really? Now, is that a nationwide thing or just a state of Colorado thing? Because Joaquin's saying they go to Texas or California, which California is so rigid. I just find that hard to believe why we can't do it here in Colorado. Why? I'm confused. You would think so. Yeah, you would think so. That makes no sense. No, Mike, that's great information. You're just resounding everything we're saying, and I appreciate your calling in and talking about it. Okay. Got it. Got it. What's the name of your shop, Mike? Okay. We'll pass that along to Joaquin, and he may be calling you. So
Yes,
it's
I will.
perfect. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that very much. Mike, thanks so much for the phone call. I appreciate that. Joaquin, maybe you found somebody local that can help you with some of that stuff. Not chroming, because nobody's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a little confused too with all these regulations, and like you say, in California they're more rigid and strict.
Evidently, we're stricter here than they are.
Yeah.
That's why we have none.
Yeah, I can see that now.
I did not know that until Mike just called in. So,
Probably Jay and don't push that through.
so they re-chrome all his old cars.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Rodeo. Who's next? Rodeo in Lawrenceburg. Welcome. How we doing? Well, and yeah, I'll be doing the same thing here in a little bit, so I'll be joining you in that. Okay.
I would say we'll just take an RNI, remove and install bumper covers, and check if nothing is damaged beneath those bumper covers, because those bumper covers are normally plastic covers.
Right.
And many times you don't see the damage underneath on the structure of the car. So
So
convenient, yeah.
depending upon the vehicle, and I know what Joaquin's saying because each vehicle is a little different when it comes to getting those covers on and off, but probably round numbers, Rodeo would be, I don't know, anywhere from $100 to $300 depending upon the car, probably to do that.
yeah, that's correct.
Agreed.
It is, yes, it is, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's in fact that's great advice. In fact, yeah, we'll start passing that around even a little bit more. I hadn't really thought about that, but that's something you should get checked. Even if you're in just a really really low speed accident, you should have those checked. Wow. Interesting. Didn't know that. That's really interesting. Now, is there, just as a side note, do you think that has anything to do with the car, body makeup, what they're doing in the car at the time, the safety features that a particular car has, or is that pretty much across the board? Right. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep, we say that all the time. Yep, absolutely. Yep, that with me as a big fleet operator, it's become standard practice where all of my guys, or the majority of them, have cell phones with cameras and so on. As the first thing we do is, even if whether they've done the hitting or somebody's hit them, which in most cases it's the reverse. We've been hit by somebody. Get out, take as many pictures as possible because we may need those going down the road. Oh, that's a good idea.
Never
Yeah.
even
I
thought
never
of
thought
that.
of that. That's a great idea. Yeah. Got it. Oh, great question, Joaquin.
That could be done in 4 hours, so half of a day, yes.
Okay. You bet. We'll do it. Rodeo, thanks so much for the phone call. That was great. Thanks for that phone call. That was right on the money. Patrick in Fort Collins, hang tight. We'll get your seatbelt question in just 1 minute. Don't go anywhere again. John Rush, Drive Radio. Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive and Transmission, and Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts. Somebody asked earlier, what is Joaquin's address? 1240 Harlan Street, Lakewood, Colorado, 80214. Call him today at 303-761-0955. This is Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, I keep telling listeners that I always learn something. That's 2 phone calls.
Yeah.
Good. There is, or one of the guys that send more work to us, or the most work, is a chiropractor.
Really? Dan's got a chiropractor he's trying to get on with us here. That would be a good thing for you to team up with. Sounds like this guy that just called in might be calling you too.
Well, yeah.
I'll bet he does.
Yeah, those guys have a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
And yes, it's like any little rear-ended impact on your
Well, and I don't know how many cars.
might be worse on your body than
Yeah.
it is on the car.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know how many times I've seen those collapse. Somebody just pulled them out.
I think it's because you don't see it coming. When you see it coming, you kind of get ready for the impact.
That's right.
When you don't see it, you just kind of lose.
That's right.
And yeah, I can see. I
Yep.
can understand the damage.
Very
It's
cool.
good information.
That's really good. Enjoyed it. So let's see, Joaquin, we should be able to keep you here. I think Mike from JFR is coming in at noon. So if you want to stay till noon, you're welcome to stay till noon. You want to do that? Okay, perfect. Let's keep you till this roll. We'll just keep rolling right along like we've been doing. This is good.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah, and my last name is Tejas Vega or Teles Vega.
Tell us, baby.
Yeah.
I think I have that in my.
Since it is Spanish, it's double L is Tejas.
Oh, it is Tell us Vegas. Got it. Tell us Vegas.
That's okay.
everybody's going to remember Joaquin, so I probably should just start highlighting that. I'll just say Joaquin from Denver Collision. That's the easiest thing to do. Just like Jeff at Larry's, they don't remember the last name; they'll remember the first. I'll switch that up the rest of this hour and just call you guys by your first name. That's typically what they're going to remember.
It's good to know about that guy, but he doesn't chrome anymore.
No,
He can prepare it to send it to chrome.
that's right. You can get it all prepped and ready to go and restore some stuff,
Yeah.
but no chroming.
This place, I don't know if you can say the name. It's called Ogden Chrome. It's
In Utah, Ogden Chrome.
Ogden Chrome.
Interesting.
Those guys are good. And another thing is that normally it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get your chrome back, to your parts back.
Really?
They have so much work. There's not many, you know.
I remember here in town, you could send your stuff down to Denver Bumper or
Denver
wherever,
Bumper,
and they
had
would
good-
chrome it.
good chrome. Yeah, they had good chrome. I did some chrome with them, and
Mhm.
it was good.
Mhm.
So now everybody from Colorado is sending, like I said, either Texas or these guys up here in Utah.
What a business. Wow. But you can't do it in Colorado. So I wonder why nobody in Wyoming does it. You'd think you'd go to Cheyenne and get it done. If you're close enough to Colorado, you could do Wyoming and still make a run up and down the front range to still pick up and deliver. You're close enough.
Who wants to live in Wyoming?
Not me. It sucks up there. The wind blows all the stinking
Maybe
time.
we set up a chroming place.
Yeah, there you go. Get somebody else to run it and off you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dirty work though.
It is dirty.
It's
And
really dirty work. It's back-breaking dirty work.
Yes.
It's hard on you.
Hey, John, I was gonna say, so the next time it's coming on, Larry Davis said he'd like to hear like Marilyn Monroe singing to John F. Kennedy. He didn't think it was possible. I went and found him a chart.
Cool, do it.
Just like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna play
fine.
the whole thing. Okay.
That's fine.
Do you guys need anything? Nope.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah, well, I appreciate you joining us. It's been good.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
Have you gotten some business? I assume you have.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we got that bumper cover from Tony, Gary,
Right.
and another good one that will pay for another year of
Good.
sponsorship.
Well, I keep sending guys to you, and we're just getting started. So as people hear more of you, there'll be more coming your way.
Thank you. It's great. It's great. It's been great. Yeah.
It's awesome.
And like you said, it's just a matter of open the door and
Yep.
it's just.
Yep.
The thing is to keep up, as I told you, to find the right guys to help you. It's been
Finding people.
Well,
it's
and
been a problem.
Don't take this wrong, John, but the bang for the buck, it's the best in town.
It is.
Well,
It
most
is.
of that's $3,000 a month.
Yeah, Jeff does during the day too, and gets lots of business, daytime
Yeah.
and weekends both.
The best part is they don't ask, very few of them ask how much.
They just show
want it
up.
fixed.
We already have them prepped and ready to go when they walk in. So yeah, Jeff's really advertising 7 days a week because our Sunday show runs again tomorrow.
Okay.
So he's really on air 7 days a week, and it pays off. Yeah, really does.
Well,
So talk to Dan about that. If that's something you're interested in. He can help you with that.
Absolutely, yes.
It works. And it is Larry Unger's birthday today. That's why we're playing some of these birthday songs. Larry's 27 today. He said.
yeah, and I didn't think didn't think
This
his
Larry.
face could get that red.
Good stuff. So happy birthday, Larry. Thanks for all that you do for Drive Radio. We really appreciate it. John Rush, Jeff from Larry's Automotive and Transmission is in studio with us, and Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts. We got a call coming in. Let's go to Patrick. And who's next? Patrick, welcome. Okay. Good question, Joaquin.
We need to change the airbag in order to install the seatbelt because it will not work. It's a system that is connected with the airbag, so you need to replace the airbag and then the seatbelt as well to make it work.
Got it.
And the sensor. The reason for this airbag to deploy was because the sensor was touched.
Was triggered.
Yes, triggered. Yes. So you basically need to do the whole repair.
So is there a way, real quick, Joaquin, is there a way where you can just do the seatbelt without the airbag, or are they so intricate that you've got to do both?
What you kind of play with the safety of the car. If you make the seatbelt to work, it will not work anymore.
It won't retract like it's supposed to.
To release the
Got it.
seatbelt, it will not be safe anymore.
Got it.
In order to make it work safe, you need to do it that way.
Which, in that case, Patrick, you're going to find yourself either you trying to figure out how to make all that work and handling it yourself, because there will not be a shop in the world, if they've got any kind of sense at all liability-wise, that'll touch that without doing it right. Got it. So here's another thought for you. Here's another thought for you, which typically you should be able to do. So if it was not her fault, somebody else hit her, go get a rental car.
Yes.
Now, today, and you charge that to the other insurance company. So you're actually worried about something you don't need to. Get a rental car, put her in it. I don't care if it's 3 weeks, they're gonna have to cover that. And if they won't, I've got a lawyer, Kevin Flesh at Flesh Law Firm, that will make sure that they do. So it's not a problem getting you taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want her out there.
Yeah,
being
no,
unsafe.
it's right. You put her in a rental car today and get it handled that way. And if you've got any problems, call Kevin Flesh and he'll handle it for you.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a good phone call. Anytime that happens, if you're not the one at fault, the other party is, whether they have insurance or not, you still need to do what you need to do on your end correctly. And if they don't pony up, that's where Flesh Law Firm comes in. You call Kevin Flesh and say, Kevin, guess what? I got run into. The other party's not fessing up. The insurance company's dragging their feet. They're not doing anything. I can't get my car fixed. I'm not getting any communication. That's where he comes into play.
Yeah.
You'll get some action. Trust me. That's how that works. So you do not want to be unsafe driving around. And Joaquin, I hope you understood what I just said there a moment ago. Any good, solid shop that has any kind of business liability insurance is not going to mess with any of that without fixing it right.
Absolutely.
Well, and the body shops have you have to meet ICAR, don't you?
Yes, specification. Yes, standards. Yes.
Standards, and that spells out exactly what you can and can't do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about safety, and it's just maybe yes, it is a standard of the industry, but it's also mostly about the safety of the driver.
No, it makes total sense. Again, 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Joaquin, Denver Collision Experts, is with us. We're answering some great phone calls today. So, in fact, that last one was fantastic. Not only was that a training for Patrick and his daughter, but a lot of you out there, you no offense, guys, but you get a lot, you can get really uptight when something happens and there's an accident. And the reality is, if it wasn't your fault, don't get uptight. Just handle what you need to next. Rental cars, calling attorneys, calling the insurance company, and so on. And it's really pretty simplistic, because you should not be out of a vehicle. If you got ran into, get a rental car, get it handled. You don't want to drive an unsafe car. Case closed. Now, you probably don't want to go rent an Escalade, because it might get the it might be hard to get the other insurance company to pay for the Escalade, unless you're used to driving an Escalade. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you're driving a 2016 Escalade and you get run into and you want to go rent one, go for it and make the other insurance company pay for it. But typically, in this case, you're going to go rent a normal, standard economy type car, get her to school and back, get all that done. It gives you some time then to get to the insurance company, the repair shop, the collision center, whatever, and off you go. Make sense, guys?
Makes perfect sense.
Randy and Aurora, you're next. From Joaquin. That's awesome. Oh, right on. Yeah, definitely. Right. That's right. Nope. You want to know why? Randy, do you want to really know why that's the case? Because a lot of those guys get a kickback from the actual insurer, from the actual provider that they're going to go tow you to, whether it be the repair shop and or the collision center. They're getting a little kickback as a driver. That's how that works. Yep. Hey, now that I don't own a repair shop anymore, I'll be the first to tell you this has been a long time ago now, when cars used to get towed into your shop quite a bit, and this is way back in the day. So I mean, I'm talking 20 years ago plus, when cars really broke down a lot. Tow trucks, it was not uncommon in my shop to have 2 or 3 tow trucks a day show up. So what I used to do was, I call them spiffs. I would spiff the tow truck driver, especially if it was a AAA account. So on a AAA account, they can go to pretty much any AAA shop, no problem, they'll tow it. Free of charge, no big deal. Well, what I used to do to get the extra business was I would tip the tow truck drivers $10 a car, and this was way back when those guys would make $10 a drop off coming to me, and nobody else was doing it. So I'm here to tell you, those things get played. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you just need to know that it exists. Yep. Good for you. You stand your ground. No, that's a great point. Stand your ground. Good stuff, Randy. Appreciate it. That was a great phone call. 2 compliments for Joaquin. So, Joaquin, we got the right guy.
Yes.
Which is you.
Yeah, part of the what sets apart from another shops is from other shops is our customer service. We personalize it, and it's me personally going and get the cars, dropping the cars, doing the estimate. So you deal with me. I'm sometimes the one actually fixing and repairing the cars and painting the cars. And sometimes I clean the bathroom.
Full circle. Yeah, and sometimes you clean the bathroom as the owner, don't you? I understand that one.
Yes.
All right, Joaquin, I appreciate it very much. Denver Collision. It's Denver Collision Experts, denvercollision.com, 303-761-0955. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. Joaquin's going to stay one more segment. So if you got questions for him, call us now, 303-477-5600. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Coming back in?
Yeah, it is.
Hey guys.
You out pushing snow?
Hey, yep. That's why I'm late.
It's all right.
Joaquin,
You're out
you're
making-
sounding great.
You're out making
Thank
some
you.
money.
Absolutely. Jeff,
What's going on
how
there?
are you? I brought us food.
Oh. Food.
Food. That's what we do. That's what Jeff and I do, man.
You eat.
We eat.
So are the roads bad, or are
No,
they
the roads
just
are
wet
fine.
now? But I drove the Mini Cooper down, so I got to get back home.
Yeah, I looked for your truck. I didn't see it.
I'm parked next to you in the Mini Cooper.
I was looking for your truck, not the big
No,
one.
I drove the Mini Cooper down.
All right, guys, let's get some shots here. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Fantastic.
Look at you go,
One
Dan.
more. One more. We're trying to get the KLZ and everybody in. All right. Now we need a picture, Jeff, you and I eating.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, stick around, I'll take you
Dan's
to
our
lunch.
social media guy.
Ooh, I might
So
be
Kevin
Kevin.
Flash gets an email
Yeah.
the other day when he was on. Somebody's actually trying to introduce legislation that would make it illegal for somebody to knowingly use an animal that's not really a help animal, an assistance animal.
Yeah.
So somebody was listening and sent him all of that. He's
No
like,
kidding.
Kevin sent me an email this morning. He's like, you never know who's listening.
You never know.
So it just goes to show you.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was hilarious.
That's amazing.
He came in today. He's standing on the side. He's doing this.
Were you listening when we were doing the parrot thing?
No,
Oh,
You need to go back and listen to it. It was hilarious.
I'll make a short out of just the parrot segment.
And Joaquin's interested in some day stuff, so you two need to get together on that
Great,
too.
great.
And it's been great today with people calling already.
But if that testimony,
We just had another one.
oh, just had
We
another
just had
one?
another one just now.
Very good.
So we just had 2.
Yeah, actually, that tow driver said, "Hey, can I bring you some cars? Can you give me some money?" I'm like, "How much do you want?" He said, $500. I said, "No." way."
What?
That's no.
I used to do $10
No
back
way.
in the day, but
I said I could probably do 50 if it's a good
right.
chunk, but no, 500.
I used to do that.
500 is not giving you profit.
No, exactly.
Oh, you got guys not to the truck.
I used to do that, but then I was getting some real flaky customers.
Speaking of which, she's gonna be on the air here shortly. That's Judy. Judy involved.
Hunting for a used car. She should be calling him with JFR Cars. That's next.
No, don't do that.
do that to him?
We already sent her to one of our brokers.
Yeah.
That was JFR.
That was JFR, yeah.
Oh, it was JFR?
Yeah.
Is it the same Judy?
We tried firing
Is it
her.
the same person?
She didn't,
Hey, did you get one of these one?
he found a car for her.
Yeah, those are his. That's his
Oh,
stack.
you can take the stack then.
That's his stack.
Fantastic.
I just got the last one.
Did you?
Watch it, sorry.
Man, it really started snowing hard again.
Whoa.
Yeah, it kicked up again.
Yeah, he did. Good grief.
Well,
Snowing
Dan-
And
sands.
the wind is crazy.
It's Dan's fault.
He brought it with him.
I got my banks open, but it was just, they were just.
We still got another hour to go here. Is it covering back up?
I don't think it's covered up yet.
Let's hope it does. I gotta get my Mini Cooper home.
Oh,
We'll call
That
Dave.
Mini Cooper should be fine.
We'll call Dave.
The highways are fine.
you're a Colorado native. You can get around in
Yeah, I
this
know.
stuff without.
Just call
It's not
Dave.
me I'm worried about. It's all the other knuckleheads
Now,
I'm
that's
around.
some, well, you know, the other thing you have to be worried about the Mini Cooper right now is there's a lot of flooding out there. A lot of the intersections are flooding deep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You mean it won't float?
Oh, yeah, flow.
I don't know.
I don't
Are they
know.
Volkswagens? I don't know. No, you said they're BMWs.
BMW.
I don't know.
Dan, you're not in your normal chair. What's up?
No, that's fine. I just like hanging out. Just don't ask
All right.
me. Just don't ask traffic and weather.
Here we go. All right, and this is John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We just had somebody actually email me a minute ago that had trouble, Joaquin, talking. We were talking earlier about Chrome shops, all of that. We've got Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts with us. And what we were saying, and this was a caller that, or a listener that was listening earlier, and he had some audio quality issues in the car while he was listening. There's nobody in Colorado doing re-chroming or chroming of any kind anymore. Everything has to be sent out to either Texas, California, or you were saying Utah also,
Yes.
right?
Yes, there is a place, the closest one I would say is Utah.
Utah, yes. So I'll respond to this email that came in directly just to make sure that he understands that. Yeah, those of you out there listening, there is nobody locally in the Denver, Colorado area. We don't even know anybody up in the Cheyenne area. If somebody knows, please tell us. But we don't know anybody locally doing any kind of re-chroming or chroming of any kind. So if you've got a part you want to chrome, Joaquin can send it out, get it done. Time frame, Joaquin, what did you tell us? 8 weeks minimum?
Yes, 8 weeks minimum.
8 weeks. So 2 months.
2 months.
So if you have a restoration project and you got some car show you want to go to, you better get on it.
Yes, get those parts ready.
Get it on now. Otherwise, you're not going to have it done in time. Judy, you are next. Welcome to Drive Radio. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. How much money do you have to spend? Okay. Okay. What's your price range you're looking at? Well, what do you think you're going about it backwards? What can you afford? Let me ask you that. So what do you think you can afford finance-wise when it comes to buying a car? Okay. I don't either, but I tell you what we can do. You keep listening. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you off, but you keep listening. If you want to call back in the 12 o'clock hour, you can, because we're gonna have somebody from JFR Cars on with us. So Judy, I'm gonna drop you off. Call us back around the noon hour. We're gonna have Mike from JFR on with us, and we'll just Dan. Don't we forget Dan? You're also joined us. He's normally on with me on a daily basis doing traffic and weather and all sorts of other things. But real quick, Dan, what's the traffic and weather like outside?
Oh, it's really nice outside. It's
Turn his mic up. There we go.
it's great weather if you're from Minnesota or Winnipeg. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, and I love sideways snow. Reminds me of home. Gives me a nice warm feeling on the inside.
Not me.
So, but otherwise, the only bad thing about the traffic right now, the roads are wet, but there is flooding out there. There's a lot of flooding in the intersections and low dips. So if you got a low riding car, let's say a Mini Cooper, I would be very careful of the deep water.
Damn. Are you telling me I have trouble going home?
You just might. I'll follow you in my snowplow.
You do that. I'll be my snowplow. You're driving.
Your
me?
snowplow,
I'll be
then I'm
okay.
driving.
I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
You can push them along.
That's right.
I'll
You
just
make
push
sure
one.
I'm out. All right. So that last caller, we make sure you remind me to ask Mike from
Mike.
GFR Cars in the next hour. She's got $200. We'll ask a little bit about how that works. What's the best way to do that? New, used, etc. He'll help us out with that. So Judy, if you're listening, keep listening. We'll have that handled for you around the noon hour. So Joaquin, again, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. One of the things we didn't talk much about today is you do other things. So let's say, for example, somebody in this particular storm, maybe they don't have any kind of an accident, but they curb check a wheel. Everything else looks fine. They've taken it in. Larry's and these guys, they've looked at alignments. All that stuff's good, but there's a big chunk out of the wheel. Is that anything you can help with?
Yes, like we were saying, so many things that we can do for you guys, and bring the wheel in, and if it is repairable, we can handle it. We don't do it in the house, in the shop, but we have.
If somebody that does it for you. Okay. You got people.
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. What about aluminum? We've got calls that called in earlier. People asking, new F-150s with aluminum. Scott Watley was here a little bit ago. He's got a big dent in the hood of his Chevy truck that's aluminum. Can you handle that?
Yes, I can handle it. Yes. We need to see the part,
Okay.
the piece, to see if it's still workable and sellable. So yes, but it can be done.
Okay.
So on that, I've been reading some articles and stuff, and there seems to be a problem with not having the proper equipment to fix aluminum, and this has become a problem with the new Fords
Okay.
and stuff like
Yes.
that. Have you got all that stuff?
Yes, we do have equipment and all the tools to handle aluminum panels.
Okay.
You need to keep these tools out of the metal,
Yeah.
and out of contamination, because metal contaminates aluminum. So the tools you use for your aluminum parts, you just use them for
I
aluminum.
didn't know that. So does that include like body hammers and the whole 9 yards?
Everything that you use over the aluminum panels needs to be just keep.
I didn't. So really now, a collision technician has to have two sets of tools:
Yes.
aluminum tools
Yeah,
and regular metal tools.
Yeah, there's so many shops that are just specializing now in aluminum panels or these
I
new
didn't know that.
cars that are coming with so much aluminum.
That makes sense. So because you could contaminate the aluminum with one of your metalworking tools,
Yes.
which then probably makes it tough to keep the refinish going correctly and the primers and the top
What it
coats and all
does is
that, right?
create corrosion. People believe the aluminum doesn't have corrosion, but
Oh, it does.
when
Yeah, it
it
does.
when it is contaminated with metal, with steel, then the corrosion start coming, and it will not be right away. It probably be in the next year, 2 years, but it will contaminate.
Okay, got it. So be very careful who's fixing your aluminum panels, which by the way, and Joaquin, you know this, there's aluminum panels on a lot of vehicles today. It's not just the new F-150. It's just the first all aluminum panel truck or vehicle that's on the road. Well, I should say the first because Land Rover did all aluminum for a long time. But it's the first highly mass-produced F-150s. They built millions of those things. It's the first highly produced, highly manufactured vehicle all aluminum.
Yes, and besides that, all these European cars, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, for many years have had or used aluminum panels, like hoods and stuff like that. It's all aluminum.
So this Ford F-150 really isn't new to the collision side of the fence. It's just the first thing really being, in a way, mass-produced. It's all okay.
And advertised.
And advertised that way. Exactly. So Joaquin, again, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you drive careful going home. We don't want you in an accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the
I
group.
guy to repair it.
I think you do. Well,
Thank you very much for having me.
and I appreciate you. We had several comments today from folks that have already gone out. You've only been with us for a little over a month. There's been folks already using you. Great testimonials so far. We did our vetting right. You've done a great job. Keep it up. We appreciate it very, very
We will.
much. Right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Denver Collision Experts. Find them at denvercollision.com, 303-761-0955. Find them at 1240 Harlan Street in Lakewood, 80214. And again, the website, denvercollision.com. You can find Denver Collision, Larry's Automotive and Transmission, all of our other sponsors, our member shops. They're all located at drive-radio.com. All of our previous episodes of the shows are there. You can see all of our YouTube channel, all of our new car reviews, you name it. It's all on drive-radio.com. I would encourage you, go to that site, use it. We put up tips and tricks and different things. So use that as a resource, as a guide to find anybody that you need to help you with your vehicle. Again, drive-radio.com. All right, hour number 2 is over. We've got 1 hour left. Mike from JFR Cars is going to be joining us here momentarily. We'll talk this next hour to him about new and used cars. So Jeff Kitty, John Rush, Dan, you are now joining us, and Joaquin is walking out. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hour number 3, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Let me get a picture of you guys on the science.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't want me in the picture. I just wanted to be the star of the show.
I got it back up.
And Jeff is definitely one of the stars. So let's see. John, why don't we put Joaquin over there by the Z? Okay. Put you in the middle there. No, I want to cover up the Drive Radio side. So I want you
Oh,
to do
geez.
that.
Okay.
I know,
All right.
guys. I'm a pain in the butt.
There you are, Mr. Social Media.
That's a good shot.
All right, you'll put that up on Drive Radio.
Yep.
If you
Okay.
record radio like you direct message here,
Appreciate it.
you're in trouble.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Thank you very
We'll
much.
send you some business.
Yes, thank you. And in the aluminum side, I have repaired in the past 1,000 aluminum hoods with my regular tools. And I drove a Mercedes-Benz that I repaired with aluminum with my everyday tools. 10 years later, I sold the car. Nothing happened. It's just the industry, the iCar, and all these companies, insurance companies that want you to buy special tools for aluminum.
Isn't there like an explosion issue too with some of it? While they're standing, you gotta be real careful with the dust.
Well, yes, if you are in an enclosed area, you could probably in this park, the aluminum creates some gases. But that's very, very extreme. Right? It doesn't happen. Nobody ever shows. Some sort of ventilation. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'll be seeing you. I'll be in touch. Thank you
Drive
very
careful.
much. I will. I think
Usually body work, but it's not. Hey, Joaquin, this is Mike.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
I don't think he deals in the type of body work I need done, Dan.
Yes, please. No, you are. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Really much appreciate you seeing. Just, all right. We'll put you in the hot seat. Mike. That's this one right here.
Okay.
And you remember the cough button, if you got a cough,
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff. This is your microphone. This is your volume control for your headset.
Okay.
So you need all that.
Nice.
And excellent. So, and I thought, when John gets back,
Dan, there's water over in the corner. You guys need
oh, do you want some water?
You know what? Yeah, I'll take some water
Get
there.
your cup.
Thanks.
Do you like ice in your cup?
Oh, I'm fine.
There's cups that go in cups up there. Oh.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I can't get my kid to call you and get him squared away. I think I'm trying to talk him into leasing the truck.
Yeah.
But he just, I don't know.
The toughest part for people when they look at it is getting their hands around because everybody's got this vision. They gotta own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know why he wants a truck. He's got less than 2,000 miles on the truck. And I serviced it over a year ago.
You just those an inch an hour.
He never
So
drives.
it'll be all right.
It's like, why?
It's burning money for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where this guy plowed, where they plowed next door, it's still staying pretty open, Larry.
Well, if you look, you have to watch your cars go by. But if you look right down here in this parking lot,
Yeah.
as cars go by, they're splashing up a lot of water. You watching there?
Oh,
Yeah.
they are. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, sure enough. What's
Starting
our
to come
moisture?
down.
We're sorry we sent you, Judy.
She's gonna call back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Kind of cookie boots.
Just to buy a car. So you got $200 a month to spend. So we'll start off that way. We'll just talk about that. What can you do for $200 a month?
Then sometime I want to get my testimony in with.
Okay.
We can turn around and do a We got a little Mitsubishi that we've got there right now. That
Doesn't want a Mitsubishi. How old is it?
14.
That wasn't bad.
It's a bad one. She shouldn't be driving.
We can't say that on air.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
She's
I
got
might
every
slip.
you might slip.
I don't know how many times Larry said, I think I fired her. I think I fired her.
Really?
Sure.
Or not that way.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Lather.
Lather.
Just like soap.
Okay. Make sure I say that right. Here we go. You're fine.
Nice.
Coke.
And this is Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Yeah, Dan's got his Coke out. Dan,
Coke and
I don't know,
Frappuccino
I'm not-
and blueberry muffins.
I'm not going there today. I do that every day. I'm not going there.
You know, it's funny. Every time I make something now, I think of Dan. It's like,
Food.
What would Dan do?
What would Dan like?
When he posts it, I'm always checking Jeff's face on Facebook page on Facebook to find out what he's making.
Because of all the
It's
good stuff.
always, it's always good stuff.
All right.
I don't make a lot of that stuff. I tweak it.
Okay. Hour number 3, Drive Radio is upon us.
Oh, oh,
303
oh.
477 5600. What, Larry? Hey, you got to talk closer to the mic. Move that thing up more. The Coke's driving you nuts? As you can tell, we have a lot of fun on Drive Radio. Got another hour. We've got a special guest that's joined us. Mike from JFR Cars is with us. Mike Lather from JFR Cars, I should say, which is jfrcars.com for those of you interested in going to the website. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Questions for Mike this hour. Call us. We'll answer them. Doesn't really matter what it is. New cars, used cars. Mike, you do it all, do you not?
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Leasing, new cars, you across the board.
Whatever you need, you can handle.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is there any, let me ask you this, is there any vehicle, or not vehicle, is there any age of vehicle you really don't want to get into? Like, say, for example, a guy wants to buy a 20-year-old car. Is that something you get into, or you pretty much stay newer than that?
No, I find just about anything. We get people saying, hey, I want, classics, it's difficult to find some of those, but yeah.
Okay. So if you're somebody out listening that's maybe got a first-time driver coming up in the family, and you don't want to go buy a new car, but you want something decent, reliable, cost-effective, you can help with that, I'm assuming?
Absolutely. Yeah, I keep cars in stock just for that. Anywhere from, a $1,500 car to you name it.
Okay, so talk to us about JFR Cars. First of all, give us location. What all do you guys do? What do you specialize in? We've kind of hit the surface a little bit, or scratched the surface. Let's get into it.
Well, at JFR Cars, what we are is we're a brokerage. And what we do is we help people buy cars, whether they want to do a leasing, they want to do, lease, purchase, you name it. If you want to consign a car, we help you out with that as well. So somebody calls us and says, hey, I want to sell my, 72 Bronco. We can turn around and help them sell it. Okay. So we take care of, all the madness out there where sometimes you'll get people that, they want to put things up on Craigslist. That's the biggest thing.
Which can be an issue all by itself.
Absolutely. So, and, we help out with that. We're right off of Broadway and County Line Road over in Littleton, right in the South Park Business Center at 8371 South Park Way.
Okay.
And then we also have a special finance division as well that's just down the road from there at 8100 South Park Way, Building B.
Okay, so when it comes to your physical location, does everybody have to come to that location, or can they do a lot of this via phone, internet, outside of that office? In other words, can you meet somebody someplace? Say there's somebody up in the north end of town that doesn't want to take the trek down. Can you still service them?
Absolutely. I sold cars at Starbucks. I've met people, you name it. So it's, just to make it as convenient and easy as possible.
Okay, and I knew that, but I just want to make sure we got that out there so people understood that you do not have to go all the way down to the location to do that. So you can do literally everything via phone, internet, meet in person. You can actually have Mike meet you, look at your car, where you're at the Starbucks or wherever, and I'm assuming you get a lot of that done that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can get all the
So
information.
you take trades and do the whole 9 yards.
We do everything.
So if you've got a car, rather than going to Craigslist, trying to sell it yourself, which I said a minute ago, that's a pile of worms all by itself. From safety issues to you name it, unless you're experienced in selling and buying cars, I highly recommend having somebody like Mike do it for you, because it can be a challenge all by yourself.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, and it's one of those things, having the strangers come to your house, having all that, and then on top of it, we're professionals. We know what we're looking at. We go at the car when we look at it. We try to make sure, the Carfax. We look and make sure that, because you get a lot of people trying to ship cars up. They got all these storms going on in Texas and stuff, flooding. You got to watch out for all those things. When we take care of all that breakdown.
And flooding like out in the parking lot of South Parker Road here.
Just right here, exactly. But there's a new revelation. I bought my car from Mike,
Right.
so now I know that he and I can meet at Pig Out Palace next time.
Oh, there we go, Dan. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Again, Dan, you were with us. Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive and Transmission. If you missed any of the last 2 hours, by the way, the last hour, a great hour. We had Joaquin from Denver Collision Experts on with us. You can catch all of our podcasts. They'll be up by this evening, probably, because Mikey does them really fast.
Yeah, Mikey doesn't fast, but he's out working snow today, so
it might be tomorrow.
A little delayed.
That's all right. We'll get them up. And if you missed today's show, you can catch it in its entirety tomorrow from 11 to 2 right here on KLZ 560 or 95.3 or 100.7 FM or 560thesource.com or the TuneIn app.
Or better yet, the drive-radio.com website that just streams right there.
That's
boom,
true.
right there.
In fact, we're recording this right now live on YouTube. You can actually watch us, and that shows up right on the homepage. If you miss any of today's show, that's instant. You can just go right back, watch us, listen all at the same time, and so watch what you say and do, Dan, because you're being recorded. It's not like during the daytime. Yeah, there's a camera. See the red light on the camera's on?
I see that.
We flipped it around, by the way. All it would show is white.
That's
Because
all you
it's
see.
snowing so hard
That's
outside,
all
that's
you
all
see.
it would show is white.
Well,
Maybe we should for the fans today. We'll just flip that around and say, look, maybe at the
Let's
break I'll do
break,
that.
just flip it around because you can hardly see that American flag out there.
Exactly.
but she's still waving strong.
She's still waiting.
It is.
Try. Absolutely, Jeff. I love it.
All right. So again, we've got Mike from JFR Cars. If there's questions you've got on buying, selling, maybe you just got a favorite car. Maybe you want to know how this broker thing works, versus walking into the dealership. By all means, let us know. Mike will answer those questions for you. 303-477-5600. So we had a call the last hour, Mike. I said we'd answer this as soon as you came on. So here it is. A lady called in. She's got a Subaru, wants to get rid of that. Has about $200 a month as far as her budget where she can actually go and spend money on a car. Is that something you can accommodate? And if so, what sort of cars fit into a $200 a month price range?
Absolutely. So, depending upon what she's looking for, new or used, there's some leasing options out there right now that you can get into. They've got some really good leases depending upon what you're looking at. A Toyota, Subaru. You can get into a used car as well. I mean, these are all options. We even have a little 2014 Mitsubishi that's, somebody can get into and have a $149 payment depending upon what their credit's like.
Okay. So maybe this is a dumb question, maybe not. Can you get a decent car for $200 a month?
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I would have thought, personally, I would have thought, 200 seems pretty low in today's world.
Well, when she asked, I was shaking my head. No way.
Well, and I could have done the
Shows you
same
right.
thing. So I'm thinking 200, you're not getting a lot of car for 200. But what you're saying is that's not the case.
No, you can get into it, and they've got so many different options out there. And some of these cars you can get, and it depends on the financing and and on someone's credit. All that affects it. But yes, you can get into it. Realistically, that number, $250 to $300, gets you a lot of car in this day and age. Believe it or not.
That's good to know. How long of a term typically is that going to be? 5-year, 4-year? What are we talking?
It depends on the year of the vehicle.
Okay.
That's a huge part of it.
Okay.
So if we're looking at something older vehicle with 80,000 miles on it, we're looking at doing a 3 to 4 year term.
Okay.
If we're looking at something that's newer that we can get into, that's got 50,000 miles or less, you can do up to a 6-year term.
Okay. All right. I've got more questions for you. We've got a call coming in right now. Let's do this. Mike, you're next on Drive Radio. What can we do for you? Oh, Mark. Hey, no, Mark is fine. Go for it. We're doing great, Mark. Thanks for calling us. Are you surviving the snow? Oh, a piece of cake for you.
Brethren.
Okay. There you go.
There you
All
go.
right. Sounds good.
Absolutely, yes. That's something we can kind of take a look at. Are you looking for something on that with the Z71 package?
Mhm. Agree.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, nice car.
That is 100% correct. So, we'll take a look at it. We search nationwide on something like that. Just remember is the more flexible you are, the easier it is to find the vehicle. So if you're flexible in the color and go, hey, yeah, I'm okay with, give me a couple different color choices, it just makes it that much faster.
Interesting. I didn't know they were that hot. I mean, it would make sense. That was a really good vehicle, and like you, and I've owned several Suburbans in that era, and I always bought the barn doors. I just found that to be a lot more user friendly when it was all said and done, to have the cargo style barn doors versus the other, the flip up. The gate thing just didn't work for me. Mhm. They're very expensive. That's the other thing. They're you would like them or not. They're it's hard to buy a Tahoe, and Mike knows this. It's hard to buy a Tahoe for less than 70 grand today.
Yes.
That's very true. Very true. No, great point. Great point. Yep. Yeah, no, I hear you. That 999's a good year. That was that was the last year for that older body style, and as you know, Mike, that's just Mike and Mark both. You guys just both know that's a great vehicle. The key is, to Mike's point, finding one, having enough time to do it. But Mark, sounds like you've got the time to do that. There you go. Got it. So Mike, give Mark your phone number.
My phone number is 720-275-4244. And that's directly to me. That's my cell phone. And I'll get you taken care of.
Yep.
Absolutely. Do it all. Make sure I check, Carfax, you name it. We go through the whole thing. And, we make sure that you don't get caught up, because you'd be surprised how many scams there are out there on this eBay and stuff like that. So, we'll make sure of all of it for you.
You're very welcome, Mark. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Stay safe out there. We've got more calls coming in. One line open, 303-477-5600. Mike from JFR Cars is with us. Jeff Kitty, also from Larry's Automotive and Transmission, and my co-host, who's on with me almost every day. I should say every day.
Every day.
Unless I'm gone.
Unless
I'm gone. Dan Muir's with me.
Yep.
So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Drive Radio, KLZ 560, also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Good opener.
Nice.
99 Tahoe with barn doors.
There's a lot of people out there just like that guy.
What's that car? Is that a 10K car roughly?
Well, it depends on how many miles you find it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you something. I actually know somebody that's got one right now that's got a black one.
Really?
Yeah. And he's a friend of mine trying to sell it. And it has the bar doors, and it's a C71. It's black. It's got 122,000 miles on it. So if I can try to get him.
What's that car? 10K, 9K, 8K?
I would say more, well, depending upon where you get it, but you're looking between 5,000 and 8,000.
Okay.
It's
a good truck. That's a good vehicle for that kind of money.
Oh, you know what?
I push those all day long here on our show just because it's a great vehicle for what it is.
Oh, that Vortec that they put in that thing is a great motor. You can't kill it.
How was the Suburban?
Suburbans will be a little less because they're worse on mileage on gas, I think. The
Yeah,
answer to that
But
for
are they
me,
just as reliable? Just
Oh, yes.
It's the
yeah,
same
they're just
motor.
longer.
Because I had a 99 Suburban.
Just longer.
Mom, Ann was a little apprehensive to come out there, but she wanted to know about buying a car and this and that. I said, I'm not gonna relay these messages, you get your information
Just
out
be
that
married.
you want. So how about going out there and talking to Mike?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Good.
All right, sounds good.
And Mike's got questions also.
All right, sounds good. Perfect. Good stuff. Nice.
See, it's a lot different being out here with the professionals. Isn't it?
Oh, this is fun.
Doesn't matter.
As soon
Whatever.
as I was me last, I did a jump.
Whatever.
That's
I'm not the
that'll-
professional. I've
that'll
just
be one
done
of
it for 20 years. That's
that'll-
all.
That'll be the lost episode reel.
It's not the
It
professional.
sure is.
It's nothing more than just doing it for a really long time.
We had
That's all.
Mike on, and we had Dennis even.
Oh, you
And
had
the dentist,
Steve
we had
Olson on?
Steve Olson on.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then we had the guy with the flying car.
Yeah, what was his?
Stephen
We
Olson.
did get Olson back on again.
Oh,
For
he's
some of his
a blast.
inventions and stuff. He's a good guy.
Oh, he's a
We
blast.
get him to advertise on the weekends too, 'cause he would do that.
He was bringing up so much stuff.
You need to talk to him because he would fit right in.
Yeah, he does.
If we've got a vet that can advertise, he could advertise his dentistry on here real easily. Everybody driving has teeth. Well,
Yeah.
most of them.
No kidding.
Hopefully they aren't wrapped around their steering wheel.
Well, let's hope.
Oh,
We got somebody breathing into the mic set.
the what?
We got somebody breathing into the mic set.
Just with that's that. Somebody told you, Charlie tell you that or what? Charlie tell you? Just listen for mics, I guess. Turn them down if you need to. Okay.
My deviating septum.
What's that?
My deviating septum,
Jeff says it's him.
probably. Back away.
Back away.
I'll stay away
Jeff.
from Mike.
Well, how much we got left? Okay, here we go, guys.
See?
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush host, KLZ 560, also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. We've got Mike from JFR Cars with us. You can actually find more info at jfrcars.com or just go right to our website, drive-radio.com, and everybody's listed right there. All of our member shops, all of our sponsors, including JFR Cars, listed right on our Drive Radio website. Jeff Kitty also with us from Larry's Automotive and Transmission, as well as Dan Muir. Stepped
From
in.
Rush to Reason.
Yeah, what does JFR stand for? Minnie wants to know.
It's our owner's initials.
Okay, perfect. There you go. Makes sense. Sort of like JR's cars.
JR's Cars.
Mine would be JWR cars.
Ooh, what's the W?
Yeah, you'll never know. Ann is next on Drive Radio. Ann, welcome. Okay. 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 In some cases, they are correct. In some cases, they are incorrect. And Mike can answer that even better than I can, but it really depends on the vehicle and what you're buying. And what I mean by that is where with what used car prices have done recently, there are some situations where, believe it or not, you're going to find not a lot of difference in price from a new car that's at a really good, at a really good price that might, depending upon the time of the month and what you're looking at in the model and so on, you may not find yourself spending a whole lot more money on new versus used. It just depends on the vehicle, the time of the year, and so on. So while they're somewhat correct, they're not totally correct in what they're telling you. Mike, would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Now, a couple things I overheard when you were talking about. You said you were in an accident in your car and it's been totaled, and they haven't given you a number on that yet.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, and we'll, take a look at some different options because there's a lot of different things out there, especially a lot of people, with you having a scooter and stuff, there's actually, even Toyota has a grant that they help out people with disabilities with Siennas and stuff like that they work with. So there's a lot of different programs. Yeah. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even know that there's such a program out there like that, but they do help out. And, what they can do is help, get the van outfitted and stuff like, for the disabled.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. Maintenance and yeah, and keep in mind too, though, and this is where a lot of people forget about this. You have that on a new car, and I get that, and those are real numbers. But you also end up with a car you're going to do really nothing but change oil on for the first 3 years. So you also have to factor that into your equation because that's a factor also. Not to take anything away from the guys that are out fixing cars, because all of them are a sponsor of Drive Radio. We love cars and having to fix them, no doubt about it. But in some cases, you've got to sit down. I shouldn't say in some cases, in all cases, you've got to sit down and weigh out all of your options, all of your costs, all of your overhead, and then come down to a final number and see what works best for you. And that's something Mike can do for you.
Yeah.
That's correct. And that is something you have to worry about. Yeah. No, and on used cars, that is a definite worry. That's something there that you have to consider. Again, I'm not advocating new or used because every situation is different. That's why we've got Mike working with us, because he can do both ends of it.
Yeah, take a look at it, do a comparison, do the pros and cons, look at everything and find out what's going to work out best for you, your budget, where you feel comfortable. And that's what my job is. And, then we'll figure out where.
Yep. So Mike, how does she get a hold of you?
You can give me a call at 720-275-4244. And that's my cell. You can get a hold of me anytime.
And Mike will start working on that as soon as possible, Ann.
Yeah, that is correct.
All right, Ann, thanks so much for the phone call. We appreciate it. And that's a great tip on the disability side of it for those listening. I sort of knew about that because I knew Toyota, I get emails and press releases and so on. And I knew they did some of that. I just didn't know how that worked and if that was something you could actually help with. So I'm glad to hear you can. That's perfect.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And they actually, I believe it's about $10,000 in grants, depending upon what you qualify for, that you can get up to help out. So it just helps outfit them. For instance, a brand new Sienna helps outfit it so somebody can get it.
That's awesome. I did not know that. All right, Mike in Denver, you're next. What's going on, sir? Oh, thanks.
Absolutely. I strongly recommend that. We take it. We actually have a full mechanics there at JFR that go through the cars. But I think just for the peace of mind.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I can answer that for you because we've checked out a couple. And
That's true. That's a good point. No, they don't. You're right. No, in fact, a lot of the independent shops, because they just don't have the software, the technology, whatever, a lot of things that happen in an independent shop don't always get listed with Carfax. Now, I will tell you, a lot of that is changing, and a lot of your more modern shops with modern software, those reports are getting done on a consistent basis to Carfax. But to your point, both Mikes, to both of your points, Carfax is a great tool. It's a great starting point, but you still got to get the vehicle checked out when it's all said and done.
Absolutely.
You bet. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. No, and our Mike here from JFR, and I think you would agree with me, Mike. If a owner or a dealer or a used car lot will not let you take the car and get it inspected, run away.
Absolutely. Yes, I suggest people to do that, to take it for their own peace of mind, because because you never know.
That's right. And different sets of eyes being on it, nothing wrong with that. And I will stand by that statement a moment ago. If it's a used car lot, a dealership, and they're nervous about you taking the car, or it's an owner Craigslist and they don't want you to look at the car, have it inspected, go find another car. There's too many cars on the market to get stuck on one.
For sure.
And that's something I want to come back to in just a moment, Mike, when we come back, is that folks will tend to get, for whatever reason, friends, co-workers, whatever, they will get stuck on a brand or even a model of a car, and they get such tunnel vision, they miss all these opportunities that may be out there on light cars that would still get everything done they need done, but they get so narrow-minded when it comes to a particular model, they sort of lose sight of what they really need in a vehicle. Let's talk about that as soon as we come back. So Mike from JFR Cars is with us. We've also got Dan Muir sitting across from us, which normally he's next to me.
Yeah, it's kind of strange sitting over
It is
here.
a little weird seeing you right across from me. But Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive and Transmission also with us. We've got lines open. Call us. Anything you need from either Jeff, Mike, myself, Dan. Dan can answer some car questions.
I can't.
But where do you put the gas in?
It takes gas.
You can answer that, right?
I can't. Actually, that one I know.
Okay. Do you also know that, this is just a side note, Dan, did you know that the little arrow next to the gas gauge actually tells you which side to fill up on?
Yes, I knew that too.
There you
I
go.
did. That's awesome.
There's a tip. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Drive Radio, KLZ 560, also heard at 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Good stuff, guys.
Really good.
Yeah. It's great, especially for a snowy day where I didn't know who we'd have for calls, period. Yeah, been real
Really
good.
strong. I mean, it's
Jen,
just,
in, if you know what arrow points the direction, why aren't all Phillips on the same side?
Why is that? And why aren't they all on the driver's side? Why would you put the Phillip on the other side of the car?
You know what? That's a safety feature.
What?
We use it. It's a safety feature. So when
You know
you
what?
fill it up and you're not on the way of
I'd like-
traffic.
I would like to talk to the guy that it all has to do with the design of the car, because it's not even, make or model specific, because you can jump in one Toyota that's on the right and go jump in the next one and it'll be on the left.
Really?
Yeah, I drive cars every week.
Oh,
They're
you
all
do.
different.
You know that.
The Mini Cooper today was on the right. It's weird. It has to do with where they can position the tank in the car, all those different things, the safety factors, where they can actually position it for crash resistance and all that sort of stuff. That has to do with where the neck's at. It's as simple as that. It's nothing to do with preference. It's just where does it fit best in the car. That's all it boils down to. Yeah. You would think they could go either way, but sometimes the tank is shifted more to the right side or the left side. Sometimes they do that because of the way the car is weighted and the positioning of the tank and the weight that's in it. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into that, where it ends up. It used to be that most American cars were on the left and foreign cars were on the right, but anymore it's all over the
I
map.
remember being behind the license plate.
Yeah, my old GS is.
Yeah.
My old car is. You flip down the plate and fill up in the back.
Mom's Delta
Got a
88
big
was.
wide tank that's in the back. And,
My Cutlass was.
yeah,
So-
76
so-
Firebird that we
Some
have.
of the new Jeeps are that way.
Yeah.
We looked all over for one of them.
you flip them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a good topic. It's sort of like, it's a crapshoot, but and evidently somebody at one point in time must have decided, hey, we need a little arrow so you can show people which side to pull the pump on.
Well, there was a deal on one of the web deals. It said which side the hose was on was an indicator of judgment. And it works on some vehicles now.
Oh, so it's not really.
It's the arrow.
Whether it's left or right.
It's usually the arrow.
Yeah.
The one on that BMW or that Mini Cooper this morning, it was hard to read. I could barely see which way the arrow was pointing, because they've got a goofy gas gauge on those Minis, because everything's got those rounded gauges and stuff. And so the gas gauge is just some lights on the right side that are kind of illuminated according to where the level is. And just a little bitty insignia down below. You almost need a magnifying glass to see where the arrow's pointing. It was really goofy because I need a little fuel this morning. I had to put in it.
That's neat.
Make sure I get back my one.
those minis are crazy though. You can fit 6'5", 6'6" in those things.
I can't believe it.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
lot of room in it. What? There was room in it, wasn't there?
Yeah, I was totally surprised.
Yeah.
The road nice.
That car. I was not a fan of until I drove it this week.
Yeah, it's a great car.
It's fun to drive. I'm gonna tell you,
They're a great car.
Only thing is the sticks with the amount of torque that they have.
Uh-huh.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. Those things will.
Now they're normally front wheel drive or all wheel, right? Right. That's what I thought. Kevin Flesh, our attorney, that's a sponsor, he just bought an all-wheel drive stick version of one of those and loves it. He thinks it's a real rocket. He thinks it's great.
Malts are fun. They're really
Why don't you bring it?
I want blueberry muffin.
No, I don't like blueberry muffins. Sorry. I don't like blueberry pancakes or blueberry. I like blueberries by themselves, but I don't like blueberries in anything.
Really?
It's about the only thing I won't eat that's got stuff in it, because I'll eat pretty much anything, but I don't like that.
Love blueberry muffins.
I just don't. I mean, I'll eat them if I'm starving. I'll eat one, but
Hey, that was your app.
Yep.
nice. That's so funny.
this car's going off. These alarms going off somewhere. All right, so we got Robert coming up next. You got pretty good inventory too, by the way.
Yeah, we get all sorts of crazy stuff.
So if you want to talk
cycling
about
through the
the
website.
jump people with that credit and that kind of stuff,
Yeah, let's do that too. We'll talk to Mike and
because I could bring in my testimony there. To that.
yeah, let's do that. We'll take Mike. He's got a transmission question, and then or Robert. Sorry, let's talk to Robert, and then we'll get into some of
You
that.
are the doctor of transmissions.
Yeah.
That's what I say on Rush to Reason.
Here we go.
Professor.
Professor, yes.
I heard that.
PhD of transmissions.
And that was Elvis to our own King Larry,
Yes.
the king to the king. Happy birthday, Larry Younger. It is his birthday. We're making a big deal of this.
So I might add, it's here every week.
Every week. Yep, he's rocking
Saturday,
it out. That's
he
right.
is.
He turned 27 today, just so everybody knows.
Oh, and hey, Larry, for your birthday, I brought you a Coke.
Yeah, he did. He's had a heart attack. All right, this is Drive Radio, KLZ 560, also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Robert Littleton, you're next. What's going on, sir? Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, we've got two guys here. We have two guys here that can help with that. Plus, you got a fourth decision, which you didn't mention, which you could pull it yourself, take it to Jeff at Larry's, have him go through the transmission, and still put it back in yourself. So you've actually got four options, guys. First of all, Jeff, what are you thinking? If he pulled it, brought it to you, and you rebuilt it on a total rebuild, what are you looking at on that Durango?
Which engine has it got in it? Okay, so it's 55 RE. You probably get to be around $2,500 to $2,800 on a carry out. And for a little bit more, we could probably do the whole job for you, give you a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on it.
Where you're not having to bust your knuckles doing it.
Yep.
Not really. The engine's good. I mean, that's a Mercedes-built engine. That thing will run for a really long time if you take good care of it. Transfer case is solid in that unit. Rear diff is solid. Other than that, you've got brakes and other things that you're going to do on any vehicle you own anyway. So the reality is, not necessarily. I mean, I've got one of those still in my plow fleet we use to run sales guys around, and it pulls a trailer during snowstorms and what have you. It's got way more miles on it than that. And it's got the 5.9, which is not near as good engine as yours. Now, talking to Mike from JFR, if you decide you want to get rid of that car and then go buy something else. So here's a question for you, Mike from JFR. What do you get for $10K in that SUV price range?
You're going to get into something in the SUVs. It's probably going to be, a little right around that 120,000 mile mark. Very similar to what you're looking at right now. Just a matter if you want to spend the extra money and get something a little newer possibly. But
the reality is you're not going to be far off in what you're driving currently. Granted, you won't be spending the $2,500, but you're going to spend $10K to buy it.
Right.
So reality, go spend the $2,500 or whatever it is to fix yours. You're very welcome.
I've got a question on that. Let's say I'm Mike and I've got that it was a Durango,
Durango.
and I didn't have a transmission. Can I still trade it in without a transmission, or does it jump to you at that point?
No, you can, absolutely.
So what would that be worth in a trade-in?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You know, it depends, obviously, you know, we got to look at the numbers and everything on it, but it could be worth anywhere from, you know, 1,500 to 3,500, just depending upon where it's at in the book. And
Because you're going to go fix it to then sell it.
that is correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it depends on condition of brakes, tires, belts, hoses, engine, mileage, interior, paint, all of that gets factored into that price, right?
Yes, everything.
So in other words, it's not worthless. That's what I was afraid of.
No, it's not worthless. No,
Very good.
there's still, you know, to Mike's point, you know, he'd have to go put a transmission. So what he's going to look at, guys, there's no secrets here. Mike's going to, I hope, agree with me on this. If you look at that car at, let's say it's got a retail value of 10K. He's got to look at that and say, okay, I got to make some profit. So you back in whatever profit you need to make on the car. Then you got to say, okay, I'm going to put a transmission in, and that may cost me $2,500 to $3,500. That comes off the top, and then you say, okay, what's the condition of the rest of the vehicle, and what's the value at that point? If I just look at it on a wholesale side of the fence, what's all those other values? You factor all that in. There's the price you're willing to pay, right?
Absolutely. And that goes for what you're saying, covers everybody's trades. It doesn't matter without a transmission, whatever the scenario is, keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through it. And that brings in, if you're going to go in and go to a dealer and trade in the car, you know what? Make sure it looks good. Make sure think about it. You're selling your car to the dealer. So when you want to do that, you want the most amount of money for it. How would it be if you were going to sell it? How would you feel if you were going to turn around and buy a vehicle yourself?
And what Mike's saying is, you know what? If you put a new set of skins on it, you know, tires, in other words, and putting a new set of tires on it, a new windshield, and getting the car detailed ups the value by a couple $1,000, which, by the way, on a lot of late model vehicles, it could. What I just said could affect values as much as $1,500 to $2,000. Wouldn't you want to do it on the front side rather than them having them do it on the back side? You're still going to pay for it, by the way. If you're paying for bad tires, a bad windshield, and a no detail, it's coming out of your pocket one way or the other anyways, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
You might as well control it.
Yes. And you can control the cost, and you can control with where you're at. And you know what? When we look at it, you're dead on when you say it with the tires, because as a dealer, we're looking at it. Yeah, you know, it's $1,000.
That's right.
You might as well, you know, go get the tires done for $500, and you just came out $500 ahead.
Thank you. So that's how, guys, this is how this works. This is not complicated. At the end of the day, it's math. Okay, I know nobody likes to do math anymore. It's one of those, it's a lost art. I don't know why, but everything today still runs off math. Everything Mike is talking about, it's all math, guys. It's all it is. And he's a businessman, just like I'm a businessman, just like Dan's a businessman, just like Jeff's a businessman. At the end of the day, everybody has to make money. It's as simple as that. If you can't make money, Mike's not there to service you next week.
Correct.
Just being honest, guys. This is how it works. There's no secrets here. Judy, you are next on Drive Radio. What can we do for you? Sure. Okay. 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 Got it. So you have a car basically that, I'm just being frank, isn't going to be worth a lot of money. It will have some trade-in value because Mike could then take that car, turn around, sell it to a first-time buyer, a driver, a first-time driver, I should say. But to your point, it's not going to have a lot of value. It does still have some value. Just be prepared, it won't have a ton. Thereby, you're really looking at buying a car for the most part outright. If you're going to finance that, you just figure out. And I think you're the one that said you had about $200 a month to spend. You just figure out what your budget, what your budget is, and Mike can help you with that.
Absolutely.
Oh, Brad, yeah, I love that commercial. Yeah, got it. Judy, thanks so much for your phone call. Yeah, right. What's she called, Brad? it's Brad, and I just love Brad, and
I've been through 3 boyfriends.
yeah, all that stuff. All right, Mike from JFR Cars. Call us. We'll get you right on the horn. We've got one segment left, 303-477-5600. Call us with any questions you've got, whether it's for Jeff at Larry's Automotive and Transmission or Mike at JFR Cars or whatever. It could just be, hey, it's snowing sideways. Yeah, it is. Is it still Dan?
I can help with that one.
I think, yeah, Dan can help with the snowing sideways. By the way, if you've got a snowplow repair question, I did that for like 30 years. I can answer your snowplow repair questions also. I do that on a regular basis anyways for my guys. It's easy.
Well, luckily for me, I don't have any right now.
I'm glad to hear that, actually, Dan. Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Drive Radio is coming up next. Last segment on this Saturday afternoon. I'm your host, John Rush, KLZ 560.
And you won't as long as he's here.
Yeah, I want to go by already.
Yes, we got one segment is all.
Wow. So what's your favorite car name? You just told me.
Can I have a second? I can use the restroom.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, you, get the code from Larry to get back in.
Okay.
Or Mindy will let you in or whatever. Yeah, we'll do that. You're fine. Even if we're on, just slip in. It's no problem.
Yeah, you just say what it was. What was it?
Actually, we should have Mikey wait at the door for Mike.
Yeah, go wait at the door for
If Mike needs let back in, let him in. I'll get him in faster.
That'd be great.
He's going out to use the bathroom.
I don't remember.
Tell us.
The favorite car name. Well, whisper it in my ear. What? Oh, yeah.
Toronto? No.
So the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Oh, the DeLorean. Back to the Future. That was the guy's name. John DeLorean.
Yeah.
There's a guy that sent me a book that wants us to interview a guy about DeLorean. I keep telling the guy that we can come on. They read part of the book. It's actually an interesting book. All the history of the DeLorean Motor Company. Pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah, he'd be a good daytime guest.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to get on the road in 15 minutes to get out of here. Get my Mini Cooper back home. Get my plow truck. Actually, the roads are still just wet, so I think I'll be all right.
I just gotta go. I gotta go back and do some cleanup stuff.
Banks will be closing here pretty quick, so they
Yeah,
will
the
have to
one
sit for a
closed.
while.
One was closed all day. It's closed Saturdays. The other one they started right away. The other one closes at 1.
Yeah, so we'll let them
And
sit
and
till.
I'll be doggone at both banks. People didn't leave their cars overnight right where I put my snow.
Of
And
course.
it just ticks me off.
Of course.
Because the way you can.
Yep.
The flow.
Yep.
You know, they park right where it flows, and it's like
But it just gives you a want to pack them in.
you just want to bury them. You don't, but you like.
They have signs of snow retention area.
Yeah. Nobody pays attention to that either. And you wouldn't believe when until you start plowing snow, how many stupid signs they got all over the market. You know what I mean? They got signs everywhere.
I bet she does.
Well, he knows more better than I do. And, hey, lady.
I'm telling you.
John cut it off too quick. She didn't get a recommendation.
What does she want now?
Recommendation.
A car?
I had no idea what the recommendation is.
Jeez. Okay, well, I'll take her back.
See, you played Larry on that one. He's Mike Larry.
Well, you were the one that she was concerned about being dehydrated up in park.
When I first met her, she was chasing me around with a water tank when I was trying to work on her car. You look like you need some water. You get dehydrated. Just let me get this car.
Your very own stalker. I love it. He's your groupie.
He is like,
I'm kind of glad she called back, because if she didn't call back, I can't call her up Monday.
Hey, Larry, I did this just for you.
you'll get a call Monday no matter what.
Yeah, I'm so glad
Oh,
you
now
said
that
about
shit's
the trade.
disgusting.
The Pepsi guy, right? So I took a picture of him in the Coke bottle.
Oh my gosh.
Third-party damn values.
I'm sending you those two emails on those Continental parts. I got a couple of emails on those Continental parts in case that guy calls you.
I saw it.
And that skid steer.
16 years old back then.
Yeah.
Still looks pretty good though.
Oh, looks really good.
It's just the first one I grabbed this morning. Then I thought about it as I'm driving around going, Mike's gonna show up on all his Packer stuff like he did last time.
You know what? I
There
thought
he is.
about it. I
There's
was
no
like,
Packer stuff at all.
He's only got a hat.
Is that ad? Okay.
yeah, you know, that's funny. I was too. I thought about it. Yeah.
right, so we come back, we'll have about 10 minutes or less, actually, a little less than that. 40, yeah, a little less than 10 minutes. So it'll fly by, especially with Judy back on.
So let's try to bring up the bankruptcy card stuff a little
Yeah,
bit.
we'll get her going pretty quick, and then we'll get
There's a lot of
it.
guys out there that
Agreed.
have gone through this.
Here we go. All right, John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560, also heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. You can find us also on drive-radio.com. Jeff from Larry's Automotive and Transmission, if I don't say it, thanks for joining us today.
Well, I just want to put a thanks out there for all of our customer listeners.
Yep, good stuff.
We don't get a chance to thank them enough,
Appreciate that.
and we enjoy the heck out of it.
That's
when they
exactly
come
right.
in and let us
Exactly
know.
right. Yep. Larry's Automotive and Transmission. Find him over in the Westminster area. Find him at drive-radio.com. Mike from JFR Cars is with us. Judy, I think, is back. And Judy, you want a recommendation on a vehicle? Is that right? Just call Mike.
Yeah.
Go give her your phone number, Mike, again.
It's 720-275-4244. It's lather, just like so. LATHER.
You call him. You can call him today, later, or Monday, Judy, and he'll get to working on that and see what's available, what's out there, what fits your budget, and he'll get you taken care of.
Absolutely.
All right, you're very welcome, Judy. Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Judy.
speaking of the financing end of things, so Dan, this was something you brought up, and I think it's a very important thing to talk about because there's a lot of folks out there that through the recession, they've had different things happen, divorces happen, you name it. Businesses go under, people lose their jobs, things take place, and credit isn't maybe as stellar as they would like to see it, or there's been a bankruptcy in their past, including, sometimes folks get divorced and one partner ends up with all of the debt, and that can affect some things greatly. Mike, do you have a way to handle any of those situations I just mentioned?
Absolutely. I can help out in any situation. They can be just bad credit, you just need a break. It can be a open bankruptcy, open chapter 13. I can work with all those scenarios. Divorce, maybe you turn around, maybe you're going through a divorce and you got a car in both your names and you need to get one financed out of the other one's name. I can help out with that. I can help out with refinancing. I've got a lot of good
But back up
options.
for just a moment. I didn't think about that for a minute. So you're getting divorced. The other partner maybe wants money or they want out of the deal. They want your name off the car, what have you. And to do that, you may have to do some funding to make that happen, is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. Because you'll get a divorce decree and they'll say, hey, I need to be off this Jeep, and the husband's supposed to take the debt or the wife's supposed to take the debt, and you don't know what you're going to do. And first thing you think of is you're going to go trade in the car, but you like it. I can help out, have you keep that vehicle, arrange financing. and
Never
get
would
their
have
name
thought
off.
that.
How about somebody that's been buried into a car?
Oh yeah, they're way upside down.
From
What do
a
you do
dealer.
then? Yeah.
I can help out with those scenarios as well. Everyone's unique, and I'll go over different options and how we can get rid of that negative equity and make sure you don't end up repeating the same thing.
Otherwise, it's a vicious cycle, right? It just
Absolutely.
keeps going. It never ends, right?
That is
I
correct.
mean, I've known people that have been upside down and they get a little bit deeper and a little deeper and every time they trade, it's just this grave they're digging for themselves just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Am I right?
That's 100% correct. So, and this just end the cycle, and I can help out and I can teach. There's a lot of different things I can help teach you when we're going through this process. Because my vision on this one, what I want to do is I don't want to sell you one car. I just want to be there and I want to sell you the rest of your cars because I want to be by your side through the whole process from here on out.
Awesome.
And this is exactly why I wanted to bring Mike on, is because that's how he treated me when I got my car. And it was an absolutely amazing process because I was upside down. As you know, we filed bankruptcy on the business.
Right.
He helped us with that. And the care and the treatment was absolutely fantastic.
So he didn't treat you like some second-class citizen
No,
that
not
didn't
at
have
all.
any credit.
He didn't say, here, the only car that you can drive is this one we got over here and he used an awful lot.
Back in the corner.
As a matter of fact, my car was in such rough shape, the one that I traded in, it took like, 3 weeks for you to actually get it the price we needed to get out of it?
Yeah, it looked like a Christmas tree with the dash.
It did. It was absolutely a miracle what he was able to put together for me.
Wow, that's good testimony. So those of you listening, Don't think for 1 second that you can't get something done, that there's no answers. Mike's a guy. That's why we've teamed up with him on Drive Radio. He'll help you. He'll take care of you. And again, direct number to Mike, 720-275-4244. Mike, one thing we haven't talked about is you've got an inventory of cars also.
That is correct.
So talk about that for a moment.
We have, you name it, if you go to jfrcars.com or you go to Bankruptcy Autos, that's Bankruptcy Autos with an S. You take a look at, we got inventory we usually keep. We got anything from, you'll see some of the cars we have on there is classics. We've had everything from Teslas to you name it, to, collector's items. We have it.
You have a
all.
911 Turbo right now.
That is correct.
A 2001, no, there's actually a white 2001 911 Turbo. 73,000 miles, 6-speed. It's a pretty nice car, actually. 54,000 bucks. Dan, you gonna go buy that? It's a great snow car, by the way.
It'd be perfect snow.
It's a
car.
great snow car.
Absolutely.
Rear wheel drive,
Glad
run around
that
this,
is.
it's
That's what I
perfect.
learned to drive in the snow in.
It blends right in, off you go. It's white, nobody will ever know it's even
The
that.
one-wheel wonder.
The one wheel wonder. 911 is a pretty good car though. So just shows you the types of cars, because I just looked at some of the inventory. So you can go from a Porsche, and I'm not bashing this car because I think they've come a long way in recent years, but you can go to a Kia also.
Absolutely.
So from a Kia to a Porsche, you guys pretty much have everything in between. And by the way, a really great car for those of you listening. You guys have a 2011 Kia Sorento, 4-wheel drive, which looking outside right now, 19.9 basically for that car. That's a good buy of a car, by the way.
Absolutely.
It's a great car.
Yes.
And I love my Kia that he sold.
So okay, I didn't know that I had caught that. So he sold you your Kia.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
That's
Okay.
and so what a testimony. I like him so much. I wanted him to be a sponsor.
That's awesome.
Do most people say that about the guy they bought their car from?
Not usually.
Not usually.
Usually they hate the guy they bought the car from.
Exactly. And it's not like I just bought it from him. I've had this car for 2 years.
Did it
Awesome.
come with the pink lips on the front?
No.
No, that's an add-on.
Hey, and
But I'll tell you what, this car, I've done nothing to it. I bought it. It had 19,000 miles on it. And I've had to actually do nothing to it other than the Thunderbird where we had to get the body work done.
Right.
But other than that, I've done nothing to this
that wasn't
car.
the car's fault.
And I should probably change the oil.
Yeah, you should.
So it's probably to that point. But otherwise, it's been a great car.
And part of the reason why we wanted to team up with JFR is I know what that dealership experience is like. And I know there's some good dealers out there, but there's also a lot of bad dealers out there. And what do I mean by that? You'll end up going to the dealership. You'll leave there not buying the car you initially went in to buy in the first place. You end up in the finance room, or the hot box, I call it. That's not a pleasant experience. You're typically going to leave there with gap insurance, with some accessory package, with some extended warranty. That's how they're making all their additional money. And it's not a fun experience for most people. That's why Dan's point a moment ago about, hey, I really want my guy that sold me the car to come on air with me. Most people want to see that guy never again, ever.
Right.
And I'm not exaggerating.
So I went and hunted Mike down. I had to find him.
Yes, you did.
So it was great because it was a great experience.
So how did you find JFR in the first place?
I found JFR through the guy that used to have Mike's position.
Okay.
So I went back there. I had a good experience with him too. That was Mark Ford. And so then Mark said, "You got to buy from Mike." And so then that's what I did.
So
And it was
that's
perfect.
how it worked out. Okay. So again, your new car buying, used car buying experience just got a whole lot better because we just brought JFR Cars into the Drive Radio family. So call Mike, anything you need. First time buyer. You've got kids that are going to be coming up into the fold here very soon. And on a side note on that, here's something else to think about, which Kevin Flesh just did this recently. Some of you that are actually looking at buying a car today, if you've got kids that are 10 to 12 years of age, think twice about the car you're buying, because most likely in 4 years, which is when they will be driving, they could easily be driving the car you're buying today. A lot of people don't think that way. They're not thinking about my 12-year-old driving in 4 years, but think about it. They're 12. They get a license at 16. That's 4 years down the road. Now, for some of you, that's scary. My 12-year-old will be driving. Well, here's the facts. Yes, they will be. Think about the car you're buying today. Would it be or could it be possible to pass that down to the next generation and have just a 4-year-old car at that point?
Excellent point. More people need to think about that.
So for me personally, I'm always thinking longer term with vehicles. Maybe it's because I got a large fleet and I'm always kind of thinking, how does this all work out and fit in? But think more than just 2 years or 4 years down the road. Think 10 years down the road. How is this car going to fit our family? Because here's the deal, and Mike can explain this. I'm not going to try to take any money out of his pocket and saying it this way, but every time you buy a car, it's expensive.
That is correct.
Period. So no matter how you're going to do it, even using Mike, you're spending money. We want you, and Mike would agree, we want you spending the least amount possible.
That is correct.
So
On your pocket.
Call JFR today again, 720-275-4244. Guys, with that, we got to get out of here. Scott Watley, Sportsman of Colorado, is coming up next. You're not going to want to miss it. It is snowing sideways out there, so be very careful throughout the rest of the weekend. And again, if you missed any of today's show, catch it tomorrow. We're not live, but we are rebroadcast on Sundays from 11 to 2. And you can find all of our podcasts on our website, drive-radio.com. So with that, we're out of here. Dan, thanks so much.
Thanks, John. See you tomorrow.
Mike, thank you. And Jeff Kitty, thank you very much. Larry Unger, happy birthday. Other side of the glass. And Mindy, you guys drive safely. We will see you back here on Monday. At least Dan and I will on Rush to Reason, Denver's Afternoon Rush. That'll be Monday at 3 o'clock. Join us then. Be safe. God bless. We'll see you then. KLZ 560. Is Scott live today?
No.
No, good.
Let's get a picture of you guys over here.
That's great.
That was really good. Great calls. It worked out great. Thanks for coming in, Mike.
Jeff's groupie.
Where am I standing? Sorry, putting my stuff away.
Yes.
I this is the one I have because I've got
Let's see. I might get the drive radio thing. You guys all slide over that way just a touch. Stop right there. Perfect.
Kind of wider angle there, buddy.
Perfect.
Daniel, you're the man.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it
Appreciate
very much.
it.
Glad
It
you're
was
part of the
excellent.
family. It's great. We'll get you some business, and thanks for helping out our people, our listeners.
All of our listeners are Judy's.
No.
No, you know what? It was it's good. You know what? If it wasn't for the duties, I do have a lot of this. So